What's up? Alright. Sorry about being late today. I wanted to go live about an hour and a half ago. Except, had to help set up a new TV. So, yeah, I was doing that. I think my gain's a little too high. There. That should be good. I need a new sound mixer. This one's too cheap. Alright. Let's load back in. Playing Gant's intro. How did I get into this mess? It's far enough. Wait, did I load the wrong thing? I did. I loaded the wrong thing. The wrong save file. Good one. Very smart. No, I loaded the right one, apparently. How did I get into this mess? That's far enough. Can't run forever, Mr. Phoenix Wright. He's had this dream before. What? What have I done wrong? I cannot allow you to go on like this, but I'm just a simple defense attorney. Silence. You are no longer worthy of your title. I've had this dream before, someplace, some time ago. It was the first case of this game, as if this day were written into my destiny. Today I'll stand in court as a lawyer. Prove a killer innocent. Defendant Lobby 3. This is Phoenix. You don't look so well, dude. You're gonna prove me not guilty today, right? It is a phone. He just called him on the phone. It is a wrist phone. I knew it was an actual phone. Oops. I was 100% certain that was an actual phone. 100% certain. If you please, Mr. Lawyer, remember it's not just me. Your precious friend's life is riding on today's verdict, too. Better get unguarded guilty sentence, okay? If you get that creepy slime bag and not guilty, I'll never forgive you ever. Phoenix. Phoenix. Mia? Maya, how's Maya? I don't know. You don't know? She hasn't tried to channel me since yesterday. Mia, what am I supposed to do? Like I said, for a lawyer, the worst of times are when you have to force your biggest smiles. Can't give up, there's still some hope left. There's nothing left, not here, not anywhere. It's that accursed unguard again. Will you leave me alone? Look, don't call me anymore, I mean it. You're really mean, pal. Does he not have caller ID? Gumshoe, I'm really sorry. Where are you? So let me join the investigation team when we're chasing after the killer, pal. You have some sort of lead? And maybe his job back. Right now we've got 0 leads on the guy. But we're not gonna give up. Until the trial is over, until the verdict is handed down, we're gonna do everything we can to find the killer. If we can get Maya out, then you can get on guard the guilty verdict he deserves. It's true, I could do that if they found Maya first. You got that? So you have to do whatever you can to make the trial last longer. You have to make the trial last longer. If you go at Mr. Edgeworth with everything you got, then you two can draw it out. Oh, I see. I believe in you. You and Mr. Edgeworth can do it. Believe in us. We're gonna give it our all. We're gonna give it all we've got, just like you. Got it. Thanks, Gumshoe. God, Gumshoe had a glow up this game. Hey, Phoenix, you understand now, don't you? You have some money. You have something money will never be able to buy. Friendship. Friends! It's the strongest weapon in the world, and you have it in abundance. Real friendship winning. The heck? That was weird. Still long? I mean, yeah, they're long games. Games back in the day used to be long. Because games wouldn't come out once a month or twice a month. It would be like, alright, there's like 4 big games coming out this year. Maybe 3. To make the trial last as long as I can. Gumshoe will come through, I know it. So there's all these old games that I never played that are really long. And this is technically the 2nd game. Court is now in session for the trial of Matt Ungard. Defense is ready. Prosecution has been ready for a while. We concluded yesterday's session with a big mystery on our hands, the mystery behind what was Adrian Andrews' role in this murder. That is to say, is she really connected to the crime itself? Edgeworth, if you would please inform the court of today's proceedings. Adrian Andrews. She forged evidence that threw suspicion onto Mr. Ungard, and then proceeded to escape the crime scene by wearing a nickel samurai costume. The guilt of these actions are those from which she cannot escape. You're saying that she is guilty after all? I'm not finished, Your Honor. Miss Andrews had nothing to do with committing the actual murder. I'd like to direct the court's attention to this card. What is that? It looks like a shell. South Park Snow Day, but it's 3D. It's also multiplayer, so I don't care for it. The game looks bad, I'm gonna be honest. It looks like generic looter-shooter kind of thing. This is the calling card of a certain assassin. Assassin, you say? Juan Corrido was killed by a professional assassin, and the person who hired the assassin, his client, so to speak, is Matt Ungard. A surprising turn of events. I would think it's become commonplace by now, Your Honor. I know what's going on this time, so I know everything Edgeworth said is true. But we still have to hold out as long as we can, at least until Maya is safe and sound. I wonder how the trial will turn out today. Please call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls the defendant's mentor, Mr. Will Powers, to the stand. Now then, witness, your name and occupation, please. I'm Will Powers. I'm a poor, underpaid action star. What is your relation to the defendant? Well, I guess I'm sort of a lousy mentor to him in a way. Powers, please, you don't need to put yourself down so much. Oh, sorry. Well, I'm just kind of a nothing sort of guy. On the night of the murder, you visited the defendant's room. Is this correct? Yes. I didn't know that. But you know, I didn't actually get to see Matt when I went. All you need to do is answer what you're asked. Now then, I would like you to please testify about when you went to Mr. Ungard's room. After the award ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room. Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. He was talking with someone. At first I thought it was the bellboy. Watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. I had guests with me that night, and I couldn't make them wait for me. Nothing sounds out of place in Powers' testimony. Talking with the bellboy is no big deal. If one assumes that the person Mr. Ungard was speaking with was an ordinary bellboy, What are you implying? What? Well, Mr. Wright, let's have your cross-examination, shall we? Looks like we're in another sticky situation. Trap, can't you smell it, Phoenix? But for us to find out more, we're just gonna have to charge in headfirst, right? I mean, we're playing this game to stall it out. Edgeworth is in on it. After the award ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room. Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. He's talking a little bit. Okay, yeah. I already read this. The defendant's room, why did you go there? Well, I'm his mentor, like a big brother, and I wanted to say congrats. Why'd you stop? Mr. Wright? What? You're gonna trick me into a corner, aren't you? Huh? I know I'm just a poor unpaid action star, but I'm not the killer. No one said you were, Mr. Powers. Please, don't trick me. Every time you do your lawyer thing, the witness suddenly turns into the bad guy. Every time. Witness, personally talk to the defense at a later time, so for now, please kindly cooperate and continue with your testimony. Went to the defendant's room. When did I turn into the bad guy? Matt was standing in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. Are you sure that it was Matt on guard? Yeah, I'm sure. He wasn't wearing the mask then. If that's the case, then he really can't be mistaken. What was the defendant doing standing in front of his own room? He was talking with someone. At first I thought it was the bellboy. What do you mean by at first? Well, he was bellboyish uniform and had a bottle of juice on the tray. Sounds like an ordinary bellboy to me. Yeah, but I didn't think he was a normal bellboy. Why was that? Why did I think that, Mr. Wright? How am I supposed to know? Sorry, I can't remember. Sorry. Wait patiently on this one? Watched the two of them for a while, but then I gave up and went back. You saw the two of them, the bellboy and the defendant, together, correct? Bellboy just wanted to say congrats. While you were watching, did you notice anything strange? I did feel something weird. I think it was because Matt, well, he gave the bellboy a tip. Tip? Yeah, that's pretty normal. How long did you watch the two of them? Not more than a minute or two. So who are these guests? It was you. You, Maya, and Pearl. I thought it would be rude since I invited you guys if I disappeared, so I went back to my seat pretty soon after seeing Matt in the hallway. It's like squeezing wild air from a stone. It's probably pointless to press further. Do I remember this incident? Did Mr. Powers leave his seat that night? I don't remember that happening at all. Maya was making such a racket in her hyper state, I ended up focusing on her. I don't think he left. From his story, he probably wasn't gone for very long. So there's a contradiction. Somewhere in that testimony is a contradiction. God, this is... I think the glass and the bottle of juice are related because of the crime scene. But that's the only thing I can think of. Just a second ago you said, I did feel something weird. I think it's because you gave Bellboy a tip. Could it be you felt something strange about the tip giving incident yourself? That's it? You really... Oh, interesting. I've never had that happen. Where I press on something and then press on something else and then come back to it. Interesting. That's kind of neat. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. This bellboy, he wasn't an ordinary one, was he? Perhaps we should let the witness tell us. Please amend your testimony. Matt gave the bellboy a tip. Gave the bellboy a tip. What's so strange about that? You see, Matt's not a poor penny pincher like me. I was trying to figure out how much it was because the tip really shocked me. That's when something even more surprising happened. The bellboy was putting the tip he got into his pocket, and that's when I got my first good look at the guy's face. I was really shocked. It sounded like Mr. Powers was surprised twice by this event. I wonder which of his shocking moments I should ask about. I don't think the tip itself is as important. We were talking about the face. He wasn't exactly a boy, more like a Gramps. Oh. That's not what I meant. Smack dab in the middle of the guy's face there was a line of stitches. Went straight from the top of his head to the bottom of his chin, almost as if a thread had snapped and all the stuff in his head would come spilling out. He was there at Ungard's house. He was that butler. And now Phoenix is starting to figure it out. So that means Ungard was talking with the killer then. If that fact were to be exposed, Ungard would be declared guilty in a blink. Play dumb here, pretend you don't know anything. Sure you don't have anything to say? What did you say? It doesn't even give me the option. Just going around in circles. Mr. Powers, continue. Oh, I see. So I want to play dumb. Oh. So until we know that Maya's safe, I'm gonna play dumb. Defendant is a huge star, he can afford to give generous tips, wouldn't you agree? Sure, but giving him that much was maybe too much, I think. Please clarify about how much you would say the defendant gave to the bellboy. Honestly, I don't know. I can't even begin to guess. Why is that? They gave the bellboy a really, really fat roll of cash. A roll of cash? Oh, interesting. That certainly was a very generous tip, wasn't it? Very fat roll of cash that can be hardly called a tip, Your Honor. The judge is beginning to look awfully suspicious of us. Raise an objection. Defendant is a superstar. The kind of tip is typical fare for people like him. Are you saying that all superstars are super spenders? If I receive large rolls of cash by simply bringing people things on trays, why on earth would I be standing around here prosecuting? It's got a point. I don't even get paid, let alone rolls of cash for all my hard work. Damn, Phoenix is poor. Poor as hell. So, supposing that roll of cash was not a tip, then what was it? Payment, Your Honor. Payment? Isn't it obvious for the murder of Mr. Juan Corrida? Then the bellboy the witness saw. Yes, he was the assassin. Your horses. Mr. Edgeworth, you don't have any proof of this, do you? Have I ever been unprepared to support my claims, Your Honor? I have here the card of Shelley the Killer left at the scene of the crime. He is the person the police's special investigation team has been chasing for ages. I'm certain the person the witness saw was this very assassin, Shelley the Killer. Really? What's wrong, Mr. Powers? No, nothing. Something just clicked in my head and I think I just figured something out. Actually, I saw that bellboy again later on that night. He wasn't with us when Maya got kidnapped. This time I was in that hallway because I had to go to the bathroom, and that's when the bellboy I saw earlier came out of the room. Of course, when I say room, I mean Juan Corrida's room. Now that I think about it, that bellboy did seem kind of out of place. So he had to be the assassin, I'm sure of it. I mean, that's all we need. I'm not done, there's still more. Let us first establish that the bellboy was truly Mr. the Killer, then we shall see. The bellboy came out of the victim's room. If that bellboy was really then the assassin, then I think the answer is fairly obvious. Mr. Wright, it's your turn to entertain and make us laugh. Ha 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 ha. This time I was in that hallway because I needed to go to the bathroom. What time was it? I don't remember. The award ceremony ended around 8, and I went to Matt's room pretty soon after that, and then I came back, and then I went to the bathroom. Maybe around 8:10. You're not one for details, are you, Mr. Powers? Hey, who remembers the exact time they go to the bathroom? I thought maybe I could catch Matt and say my congrats. And that's when that bellboy I saw earlier came out of the room. Sure it was the same bellboy. Yeah, how could you tell? All the bellboys wear the same uniform. He had stitches on his face. Oh. I'm sure it was the same guy that was talking with Matt. So which room did the bellboy come out of? Juan Corrida's room. The one with all the pretty flowers and teddy bears. It was Juan's room, alright. Continue with the testimony, shall we? Bellboy did seem kind of out of place. What was so out of place about him? Why the insipid grin? Because I have no idea what damaging thing he's gonna say next. The bellboy was empty-handed. Empty-handed? The bellboy is one of those room service people, but he wasn't pushing a cart and he wasn't holding a tray either. You'd call that a little strange too, wouldn't you? I agree that's a bit strange. Was it really that unusual for a bellboy to be empty-handed? What should I do? Should I let Mr. Powers' testimony slide or try to pull a fast one? There's nothing strange or unusual about an empty-handed bellboy. But there really is. There really isn't. Bellboys are for room service and there's no reason for them to be empty-handed ever. They're called bellboys. They carry bags up to people's rooms, and then when they're done carrying the bags, they're empty-handed. They have a lot more responsibilities than just room service. Are you going to do whatever you can to make the bellboy look suspicious? This court recognizes it as a grants prosecution. Please amend your testimony. Hey, that's fine. More stuff I can work with. Thought it was strange for a bellboy to come out of a guest room empty-handed. Suspicious for him to be empty-handed. I mean, when I first saw that bellboy, he was holding a tray, and there was a bottle of juice and a wine glass. What kind of juice? Pretty sure it was tomato. If we could come up with some sort of reason as to why he would come out empty-handed, some sort of proof, then I think we can dodge the bullet on this one for now. So picture the court scene. Or the crime scene. Court scene. Crime scene. Mr. Powers. Yes? You're easily influenced by other people's words, aren't you? As soon as you heard that the bellboy might be the killer, you got caught up in believing it must be true. Isn't he really suspicious? He's got all these stitches and... profiling? So, a baseball has stitches. True! Are you saying that all baseballs are suspicious because they have stitches? There's also, what about him being empty-handed? I'd like to ask the court to take a look here. The scene of the crime. This is the crime scene. There's a wine glass sitting next to Corrida's body. The liquid inside this glass is tomato juice. And now, if you were to look at what is on top of the table in the lower right corner here, a tray with a bottle of tomato juice on it. The bellboy had just brought this into Mr. Corrida's room. He left the tray in the room, which is why he left empty-handed. But that would mean that the bellboy had seen and left a dead body in the room. Not necessarily. Can you prove that Mr. Corrida was already dead at that time? Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? I blame you for leading me down this route. Terribly sorry. Witness, isn't there one more thing you'd like to share with us? Is there? The bellboy was empty-handed, or should I say empty-handed. Recall you saying something interesting about his hands. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. That bellboy, he was wearing gloves. Pitch black leather ones. All the other bellboys don't wear gloves like that, right? Didn't you mention them earlier? It slipped my mind. Does this really make the bellboy look suspicious? Can't get lax here. What if he had gloves? A lot of bellboys wear gloves. That bellboy was wearing black leather. So, a football is made of leather. Are you saying that all footballs are suspicious because they're made of leather? But that man, he received a large roll of cash from the defendant, and then he was seen leaving the crime wearing black leather gloves. I don't think that even someone like myself can believe he was just another bellboy. They don't have any material evidence that he was the killer. They have nothing material to say that this bellboy was actually the killer. It seems we have finally come to an understanding. Now then, witness, please continue with the rest of your testimony. Hold on one second. After leaving Juan's room, the bellboy went and knocked on Matt's door just like that. He gave something to the person inside the room. Then the old guy just left without even going into the room. After that, I went to the bathroom and then back to my seat. So the bellboy, after leaving the crime scene, went to the defendant's room. Kind of saw that all by accident. Some accident. I'd say you saw too much. Yeah, this is a really terrible assassin. All of it was suspicious to high heaven. I think it's safe to say we can no longer consider this bellboy to be normal. Let's get started. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Second meeting. After leaving Juan's room, the bellboy went and knocked on Matt's door. Is that what you saw while you were busy spying? Oh my god. Maybe poor underpaid action star. Even I wouldn't stoop to spying. Where did you watch all this from? From the door of the bathroom with my left eye and sort of a sneaky spy-like. Does it really matter if he was doing it over or underhandedly? What did the bellboy do next? That's all I care about. Gave something to the person inside the room. Hold it. What kind of statement is that? Please elaborate and give us a few more details. Ask about the person inside. Ask about this something. Yeah, actually, ask about the person inside. Who took this something the bellboy handed off? I don't know. What do you mean? Sorry, but I only saw the person's arm. You're saying you didn't see the person's face? It was Mr. Ungard's room, so it could have only been Mr. Ungard himself. And then what did the bellboy do after that? Gave the person inside the room this thing. I mean, he should have seen the costume if it was Ungard. He gave something? What was it? I have no clue, he bet. He has no clue. This implies that something was removed from the scene of the crime. Sure you really can't remember? I think it was something kinda small. I'd like to summarize the testimony up to this point. When the bellboy left the crime scene, he immediately went to the defendant's room. There, he handed a small item of some sort to the person inside. As for the person who received the item, all you could see was the person's arm. I think it's of utmost importance. This is when whatever was removed from the crime scene was handed over to the client. If I saw it again, I could say for sure, but I think it was some sort of wooden statue. Kinda looked like one, I guess. If I saw the actual thing again, I'd probably remember, you know? Looks like for this trial to proceed, I'm gonna have to come up with whatever this statue thing is and show it to him. Gonna have to trust your instinct and take a chance, Phoenix. Old guy just left without going into the room. Where'd he go? Opened the door to Viola Hall, went in there, and who knows after that. Yeah, then he went to Maya and kidnapped Maya. Went to the back of the room and back to my seat, okay? Wooden bear-shaped figurine. What was the point of that pregnant pause? Where'd the objection come from? Well, speak up. It was me, Your Honor. What is it, Phoenix? I have a feeling something bad is gonna happen once I show this. If you have something to say, please spit it out. Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Powers, this something you saw? Was it this item? Oh, hey, that's it. That's the something. Wow, Mr. Wright, you really figured it out. I recall we found this in Matt Ungard's mansion. The defendant's house. What does this mean? It's simple, Your Honor. Shelley Killer assassinated Juan Corda in his room, then he stole this wooden bear from the scene of the crime. Then the bear being found at Mr. Ungard's mansion would mean... It goes without saying, Mr. Ungard is the killer's client. Mr. Wright, this is a most unfortunate turn of events. Yeah, sorry Mia. No, it's alright, your judgment was sound. Actually, I figured the bear would come up. Not now, then later. Even if you hadn't shown it to the court, I'm sure your friend Edgeworth would have. I think it's clear that there's no need for us to continue the trial. It has to be something we've overlooked. Your Honor, a minute, please. There's still a few points left that we have not fully explored. What are you trying to pull? We can't have that. Alright, Mr. Wright. What questionable point would you like to explore further? The person who received the bear. I think Powers' testimony is... whatever. I want to do the person who received the bear. There is one thing in Mr. Powers' testimony that was very unclear, and that is the identity of the person who received the bear. I only saw the person's arm. As long as we don't know who it was that took the bear. Ah. Huh? 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 Good? What is it, Mr. Powers? If you're gonna scream like that, at least give us a good reason why. Actually, so I remembered. I remembered who took the bear. I only saw his arm, but the arm, it was the Nickel Samurai's arm. I swear it. How does he forget that it was the freaking mechanical arm of the Nickel Samurai? Like, come on, dude. Where's the dude's stitches on his face? He doesn't have stitches on his face. You've got to be kidding. Are you sure that, Mr. Powers? I'm sure it was the Nickel Samurai. It looks like you've dug your own grave yet again. The person who took in this little bear was the Nickel Samurai. As we all know, Matt Ungard is the Nickel Samurai. Could I argue that it could have been Andrews? Probably not, because the order of events doesn't line up. I need to put on socks. My feet are getting cold. I'm gonna wear my nice big fuzzy socks. My hiking socks. There we go. My feet were starting to get very cold. You don't have time to act lost. You gotta find another angle to attack this from. Already remove any and all questionable areas from this testimony. It's about time you were removed from the court, Mr. Wright. Find something, even one more point will do. Still questions left unanswered. Can't have that. Alright, Mr. Wright, what questionable point would you like to explain further? I guess the bear itself? I think it's fairly obvious that the bear itself is very questionable. The bear? This was found at Mr. Ungard's mansion. However, Ungard was arrested at the hotel that night, which would mean since the murder occurred, he had not gotten a chance to go home. I think Your Honor has already figured out what I'm going to say. It's not possible that it was Mr. Ungard who took the bear to his mansion. Why, that's very true. We didn't consider that point, Mr. Wright. There is no way time-wise for the defendant to have taken this bear home. Nope. You haven't gotten the best of me yet, Mr. Wright. I remember it clear as day. I remember what you muttered to yourself at Ungard's mansion. What did I mutter? We have this area completely surrounded. There's no way for him to escape. I can't believe it. The butler. All this time he was the killer. Killer and Ungard were working together, so to speak, and the killer was hiding at Ungard Mansion as its butler. What a bold move. The bear figurine was brought back to Ungard Mansion by the killer himself. When it looked like he was about to be arrested, Ungard had him do so. I assume it would have been bad had the police found it during their investigation. Why take the bear in the first place? Why take the bear in the first place? It doesn't make any sense. Well, Mr. Wright, you've been quiet for a while now. Isn't there anything I can attack at all? We now know why this bear figurine was at the defendant's mansion, as well as we know it was received that, as well as who it was received at the bear, as well as who it was that received the bear from the assassin in his room. Everything has become very clear. The client who hired the assassin to commit the murder was Mr. Matt Ungard. See no reason I will hand down my judgment. See, Mr. Wright could not win against the truth, could you? It would turn out this way. After all, what Edgeworth has stated is the truth. What should I do? Raise an objection. Only way, well, one way for me to drag this trial out. The only thing I have left is a sturdy trick. Your Honor, right now we have these two reasons to believe my client is the assassin's client. Reason number one, he accepted the bear figurine from the assassin. Reason number two, that very same figurine was found at the Ungard mansion. However, it's possible that this is all the work of a certain other person. What I'm saying is, it's possible for a different person to be the killer's real client. Is this all you have? Let's hear your theory. Who do you say is the killer's real client and therefore the murderer? Well, the only other person who wore a nickel samurai costume. Adrian Andrews. We already know that she tried to frame Matt Ungard for the crime by wearing a spare nickel samurai costume. The nickel samurai arm that I saw, that could have very well been Miss Andrews. Please recall yesterday's testimony. The defendant was taking a nap during a break period. Finding this figure at Mr. Ungard's mansion, it was a well-laid trap set by Miss Andrews. Edgeworth, what's your opinion on this? I can't even begin to count the flaws in the defense's logic. Yeah, it's very flawed. Besides which, there's no evidence to support it. However, I can't fully discount its possibility either. I could instantly discount its possibility. Immediately I could discount this possibility. Anyone can tell that On Guard did it. I can't believe defense would go so far as to pin the guilt on someone else. Unbelievable. This is to save Maya. This is to save Maya. Even if the whole world turns against me, this is one fight I can't give up on. All disruptive parties will be forced to leave the courtroom. Your Honor. For the benefit of the defense, I'm willing to play along with his what-if game. Prosecution is prepared to challenge the defense's theory. Edgeworth's playing along. Even you must have thought it strange and wondered, why would the criminal want this little wooden bear? The killer did specially bring that bear to On Guard right away. Why, you ask? Is there something special about it? Absolutely. I'm sure once the court knows its significance, the true killer's identity will be crystal clear. Your Honor, the prosecution calls upon a witness who will clear all doubts against Miss Andrews. Who would that be? It's quite simple, Your Honor. Adrian Andrews herself. Court will take a 10-minute recess. Prosecution will prepare its witness in that time. It's weird that the defendant is so rarely brought up on the stand as to testify. So rarely. Like, I don't think Powers testified in his thing. I don't think Maya testified in her own court case. I don't think On Guard has testified in his own case. Oh, I knew it was a good idea to hold her hostage. Don't you agree, Mr. Lawyer? I never thought in your desperation you tried to pin the guilt onto Adrian. That's what I did yesterday. I swear this demon will pay. Mr. Nick, Pearls, where's Mia? I don't know. Really strong power suddenly called her away. Strong power. Mr. Nick, your phone. It's from Gumshoe. See, now he has caller ID. Been hanging in there, pal? Yeah, sort of. We just barely found something to latch onto. It's good, pal. How about you? Anything yet? Figured out where the killer and Maya are? We still don't have any leads, but... What? We don't have any more time. If we just had one, even a single clue would be really helpful. I was only able to come this far because I kept thinking to myself, I've got to keep the trial going until Maya's been rescued. But have I just run out of luck this time? Is all our hope for naught? A tent. A tent? I could see a circus tent. Mia? Looks like Maya was unconscious until just a few minutes ago. As soon as she woke up, she called for me. So it was Maya that called you away. She's locked in a dusty little room right now, but I could see a circus tent outside the window about 300 feet away. Gumshoe, is there a circus in town right now? There's only one, pal, the Berry Big. Maya's somewhere within 300-foot radius of the main tent. What? Okay, hold on a sec, pal. Draw a circle on the map about a 300-foot radius from the main tent. Hurry. And? I could see a mailbox under the window just outside. Gumshoe, there's also a mailbox. Alright, what else? Sorry, but that was a small window. I couldn't see anything else. It felt like an old office building, maybe 3rd floor or so. I heard her, an old office building. Good stuff, pal. Hang in there, just a while longer. Wish us luck. Call you later, so don't let your battery die, okay? Yeah, Maya's not hurt, right? She's in a pretty bad state. She's being starved. Gumshoe, please hurry. Yeah, she hasn't eaten in like 2 days. Looks like we're out of time. Are you alright, Phoenix? It's only a matter of time before Maya's rescued. I can do this. I just have to make the trial last a little longer. Court will now reconvene. The killer, the man who murdered the victim, handed this to his client. From this, the obvious question arises, why this particular item? I believe the answer to that question will provide us with the name of the real culprit. The answer wasn't even in that last statement, and for some reason I pulled the word answer out. Do I have, like, premonition dyslexia? Can I see the future? The prosecution calls the defendant's manager, Adrian Andrews, to the stand. Currently, the witness is accused of tampering and obstruction of justice. However, you have been called to the witness stand today to ascertain who exactly is guilty of murder. I understand. Very good. Now, have you seen this bear before, Miss Andrews? Of course I have. Seen it before? That's right, it's only natural that the witness has. Miss Andrews, could you enlighten the court about this bear's secrets? Alright. Why does she know? Bear's secrets. Actually, this is an elaborate puzzle. If you know the correct order, it can be taken apart one piece at a time. At its center is a small cavity with just enough room to store a small item. Because of its complexity, if you don't know the order, you can't open the bear. You really can't tell that it's a small jewelry box just by looking at it. Interesting that she called it a jewelry box. This can be deceiving, wouldn't you agree? Begun cross-examination. Looks like there really was something to that bear after all. For there to be an entire witness about it, yeah. Puzzle? That's right. Looks like an ordinary figurine. People who don't know, I'm sure they would never guess that it was a puzzle. What kind of puzzle is it? You know the correct order can be taken apart one at a time. How would one go about doing that? First turn its tail to the right, then push it in. After that, the arms and legs are free to move and can be removed. This is the most interesting. The boy and his toy. Oh, don't mind me. Go ahead and carry on. What do you find after you take the puzzle apart? It's a certain small cavity, just enough room to store a small item. How do you know about this? I know because I was the one who bought it. It was a souvenir from a friend from when a friend and I went to Switzerland. This was a present from you. That's right, it was a puzzle in the shape of a bear, so I thought it would be perfect for Juan. It was a present from Miss Andrews. Interesting. Oh. Man, Ungard is really an idiot. All this because he couldn't pull Andrews. And he thought Corrida was pulling Andrews, and he's like, no, you can't have a woman that I couldn't get. When it was really that Andrews was getting close to Corrida to figure out what the suicide note was. Who exactly knew how to solve the puzzle? Only two of us, Juan and myself. It was a souvenir from Switzerland, so I doubt there are any people with the same bear in this country. Looks like it could be easily broken, especially if someone wanted to get what's inside. Well, it's a toy, but it can never be the same once it's broken. Really can't tell that it's a small jewelry box just by opening it. Who else knows that this bear is actually a small container or jewelry box? I never told anyone. As long as Juan never told anyone either, then only the two of us knew. And of course that means Mr. Ungard didn't know, right? Figurine updated. Small wooden puzzle with hollow inside. Only Corrida and Andrews know how to open it. Well, Mr. Wright, I think even you have come to realize there is only one very important fact we have uncovered in it. That is, the bear is actually a jewelry box. Now that we have agreed to this point, there's only one logical question, and that is, what is inside this box? That's what we're gonna find out. Witness? You're the only one who can open this, please. Painful silence. All eyes are on Miss Andrews as she now solves the puzzle. I've opened it. It's a wedding ring or something. Oh, it's a note. Is this what you wanted? What is that? It looks like a note. I don't think we need to guess what it is, do we, Mr. Wright? It's the suicide note. The suicide note? Suicide note left by Juan Corrida's former manager, Celeste Impacts. Until now, no one knew of its whereabouts, but just as we suspected, it was hidden by the victim, Juan Corrida himself. Seems Celeste Impacts had very beautiful handwriting, and she just as beautifully signed her own name on this document. This is definitely the note she left right before she committed suicide. Witness, did you know about this? Yes, I did. I heard all about it from Juan. When I discovered the body, I looked for the bear. I wanted to destroy the note before it became public, but I couldn't find it anywhere, because it had already been taken by the killer. Everything is going at Mr. Edgeworth's pace, so now the suicide note has been filed. What's the next logical question? What's written on the note? That's what I would think. Now then, I believe it's only appropriate that the contents be known. Can't stop you, can I? I went through so much just to get my hands on it, and I was going to burn it for her sake. Deeply sorry, but I can't allow you to persuade me to stop. Your Honor, if you could read the contents of the note aloud. The judge's voice rang loud and clear through the deathly silent courtroom. In her notes, Celeste Impacts left us a record of all that had happened to her, about being used and then thrown away by Ungard, about being engaged to Corrida and Ungard's role in destroying that, and how she decided, in her despair, to end it all. And that's all Miss Impacts had to say. There's only one thing I would like to say here. The prosecution has no interest in slandering Mr. Ungard. Then, our intention, Your Honor, is to establish a motive for murder. Isn't that correct, witness? Yeah. On the night of the murder, Juan was going to make the contents of the note public. After the post-ceremony show, he was going to hold a press conference. Matt Ungard values, above all else, his refreshing like a spring bee's image. Which is why he had to stop this note from being made public. At all costs. Found inside the figurine, it tells of Ungard's horrible misdeeds. I guess there are slime balls who will defend this person. There's no room for doubt here. Mr. DeKiller's client's goal was to obtain the suicide note, and the only person who needed the note that badly is the defendant. Let's not forget that the bear with the note inside was found at the defendant's house. But why not just burn the bear? Why not just destroy it? It seems we've finally come to the truth at last. The defendant's motives were entirely selfish. He deserves no sympathy from anyone. How am I supposed to escape this one? Why the hesitation, Phoenix? Gumshoe hasn't called, so you know what you must do. I have to carry on and buy him some more time. There are two deadly pieces of evidence, the figurine and the suicide note. Maybe somehow I can find a way out of this situation through one of those. Gavel's already in his hand. Hurry. Suicide note or the figurine. Which of these should I pursue? How would he know that the note was inside the figurine? I guess both of these would bring up that. Theoretically. I don't think there's a wrong answer here. Wait, Your Honor. Look at that, he's still going at it. It's like he doesn't care. I think Your Honor believes that Matt Ungard killed in order to obtain your note. That is correct. It seems a little suspicious. In fact, I think there's a contradiction here. This note was hidden by Mr. Corda until the night of the murder. If that is the case, I say that Matt Ungard could not have known what was written on this note. Didn't think of it that way. Exactly, but I did think of it that way, and I thought it was rather strange. No one in their right mind would kill for a note without knowing first what the note... without first knowing what it said. Order. You make a valid point, Mr. Wright. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion? Just a flash, but I think I did rather well on this one. Unfortunately, I think he believes differently. I believe a show of appreciation is in order. The defense seems to be in love with wishing more despair upon itself. I'd like to direct the court's attention to this. What is that? It's It's a very small video camera. The type of camera is usually commonly used as a means of spying. I thought the spy camera was in my possession. Matt Ungard and the victim both thought of the other as their biggest rival. They even went so far as to use this type of item to find each other's weaknesses. And the victim, Juan Corrida, was being spied on. His personal life was being watched by none other than Matt Ungard. Mr. Wright, yes, Your Honor? Don't tell me you knew about your client's spying activities. Sort of. Sort of is not an acceptable answer, Mr. Wright. I see you're confused, Mr. Wright. You're probably thinking, but I have the camera that was in the stuffed bear's eye. But this camera is not that I have is not that same one. Last night I searched the victim's house on a hunch, using this Gumshoe's bug sweeper. By the way, Mr. Wright, the defendant's fingerprints were found on the camera. Well, Phoenix, it looks like those cameras were hidden all over the place, huh? I think this is the end. It's fairly obvious that Matt Ungard learned of the suicide note through this. He was watching the victim all along. I don't have anything to counter that. What's that thinking? Mommy, is the man the bad killer guy? Stop, don't look at him. No, the way he's sweating. Phoenix? Yeah, Chief? Have you figured out what you're gonna do next? What I'm gonna do next? I know it seems like Mr. Edgeworth is very close to putting the lid on this case. In his eagerness to prove his point, he forgot one very important thing. What is it? There's a piece of evidence that he really should investigate. I really hate to see the good prosecutor get scolded for not remembering to look into the item when he had the chance. I think this time we finally understand everything. We don't have any further objections. What is this piece of evidence? Can I figure out what it is? I have an objection, Your Honor. That was about the weakest objection I've ever heard, Mr. Wright. Defense has no intention of letting this go so easily. That's just your you're beginning to sound desperate. That's just your imagination. Mr. Edgeworth, this is not like you at all. In your eagerness to prove your point, you've forgotten one very important thing. Isn't that what I just said? Telling me that I forgot something? We're so close, Mr. Edgeworth. I have no clue. There's something you should really examine about this piece of evidence. It's got to be something relatively new. I'm surprised we're not talking about the strangling that much. The card, I don't know. The camera recordings? Celeste's suicide note found inside the figurine tells of Ungard's horrible misdeeds. Only Corda and Andrews know how to open it. With love, Celeste. There's something you should really examine about this piece of evidence. It has to be a new piece of evidence. So it would have to be the card, the camera, transmitter, the bear, the credit card receipt, the photo, figurine, or the suicide note. We haven't brought up the photo, or the receipt, or the bear. So it'd have to be the card, camera transmitter, and suicide note. And I think, I don't know. Transmitter? He didn't even talk about the transmitter, actually. So it's the picture card, the spy camera, and the suicide note. And the figurine. And we kind of exhausted the figurine. Right? Did we? I don't know. Sure, suicide note. Yes? This impacts the suicide note, right? Who knows? I mean, sure, the suicide note was found inside the bear, but this bear was only in my possession until just a few moments ago. Which means handwriting on the suicide note has yet to be analyzed. So, as to where this pivotal piece of evidence was really written by Miss Impacts or not, that has yet to be even remotely confirmed. Mr. Wright, you can't be suggesting. Mr. Wright, are you saying the suicide note is a fake? Miss Andrews, you were the one who tried to pin this murder on Mr. Ungard. Who's to say you didn't create a fake suicide note and put it into this bear? Who's to say you didn't create a fake suicide note and put it into this bear? How dare you? Your Honor, the defense is indiscriminately accusing the witness again. There's no evidence linking the witness to the suicide note whatsoever. What do you mean? If this is a fake, then the witness is the only person who could have made it. Recall the witness's testimony concerning the figurine. The only person other than the victim who could solve it is the witness herself. Miss Andrews, you wrote this note, didn't you? You wrote it so you could use it to frame Matt Ungard. I did no such thing. Right, if you're gonna pronounce this suicide note a fake, show the court some evidence to support your theory. Mr. Edgeworth, you were the one who presented this scrap of paper as evidence. That means the burden of proof lies with you, the prosecution. Mr. Edgeworth, can you confirm the handwriting in the suicide note? As the defense stated, the handwriting has yet to be analyzed. If that's the case, it seems that yet again we have reached a point where the verdict is impossible. That's impossible. This isn't good, Phoenix. Judge is going to carry the trial over one more day. I don't think Maya will be physically able to make it another day. I didn't want to have to do this, but I don't have a choice. I request that both the prosecution and defense further investigate handwriting. Oh god. I think we reached the end of the line. Guilty, guilty, guilty. What is that sound? It's Gumshoe. Hello, Gumshoe? What's with him and what is with that sigh? Where's Maya? What happened to the killer? He got away. I'm sorry, pal. I really am. I don't know what to say besides I'm sorry. I wish there was some way to make it up to you. I really do. Anyway, what's going on? We found his hideout, but the two of them are already gone. I'm gonna keep looking for them. Don't worry. I just need a little more time. But don't tell me we don't. We don't have any more. You hear that? They're calling for his head. Mr. Wright? I can't. For us to come this far and... Oh, what is it? Let me talk to Mr. Edgeworth. I can't do that. Mr. Wright, would you please get a hold of yourself? Yes, Your Honor. I'm about to end today's proceedings. You may make your phone calls after. Hold on, Your Honor. Edgeworth, catch. Mr. Edgeworth? Please, you've got to buy us some more time. Court is in session. Beep. I'm sorry, Your Honor, you were saying? Damn, he played that so cool. This is a court of law. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but... I'm reluctant to do this. However, it appears I have no choice but to suspend proceedings until tomorrow. This time I really can't do anything. Court is now adjourned for the day. Objection. Edgeworth? Please wait, Your Honor. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I humbly request another 30 minutes of Your Honor's time. For what purpose? We can perform the necessary tests on this piece of evidence in that time. Can you really obtain your results in 30 minutes? I believe we can, Your Honor. Wouldn't it be better if we adjourned and reconvened tomorrow? 30 minutes, Your Honor, that's all I'm asking. Please, Your Honor. Very well. Prosecution's request, court will take a 30-minute recess. Be advised, I will not allow another recess today. Final recess of the day. No to be continued, we're just going right into it. Right? Well, what's going on with Maya's situation? The killer, it looks like he got away again. 30 minutes? We can't find her in that time. Report? Edgeworth? You don't have time, just spit it out. Right. Looks like we just missed them, but the killer left a few things behind by accident in his rush to get away. A few things. Can we use any of them as evidence? Ho ho ho, I thought you'd ask. I got the things he left with me right now and I'm on my way over. It's odd. Any items like that are usually sent to the crime lab first. We don't have time to wait for those guys, sir. When those guys weren't looking, I swiped the stuff and ran. What? Well, I'm not a detective anymore, so I had to. I'm really sorry, but I've got to put the law on the hold for right now. Sounds bad. I hope it doesn't get into too much trouble. With my hunk of junk car, I'd say I'd be there in 20 minutes. Don't worry, I'll be there. Wait for me. Just get here in one piece. I'm on a mission and no one can stop me now, sir. No one. I'm pulling all the stops and running every red light. Items left by the murderer, huh? Maybe there's something amongst them that will be a decisive enough end to this. What's wrong? Gumshoe, answer me. No one can stop. What happened? It sounded like he had an accident. I'm guessing his cell phone broke as well. Gotta hurry up and call for help. We have no idea where he is. His cell phone is broken and he wasn't driving patrol cars, so no radio. Also, if we don't get those items before they do, the police will take possession of them. Can't let that happen. If there was a way we can find out where he is and we stand a chance. Why did Gumshoe have to get into an accident? Is there any way we can find out exactly where he is at this moment? Of course there is. There has to be. There is a way. There is a way. I'm sure we can find out where Detective Gumshoe is through this. Radio transceiver. The transceiver is probably the only thing, right? Right? No. Right, we're not in the middle of a mock trial. I know my client is guilty of what I'm doing now. Said it was very urgent. Think hard about what it is you must do. To be continued. I need to reload. I need to figure out what it is that can find Gumshoe, because there is a way. I'm sure that we can find out where Detective Gumshoe is through this. It's not the transceiver. They said we can't track location with transmitters. This is probably not the transmitter. It's gotta be an item, right? Although none of these items can track Gumshoe. Is it a person? Can Pearl track Gumshoe? Wait. Von Karma implanted a tracker in him, right? Yeah. There is a tracker. Von Karma put a tracker in Gumshoe. Man, if they had put it right in here, then that would have been funny. Yeah, it had to have been Von Karma, right? Von Karma is the only other person. And she's only the only other person we could trust. Well, trust. It's Von Karma. Why are you bringing up Francisca at a time like... Oh, I see. Yeah, it is Von Karma. Get in contact with her. The chances are slim, but she's all I have. Francisca, will she even want to help us? Edgeworth? What is it? I don't have the right to judge anyone ever again. I know my client is guilty, but what I'm doing right now, I'm pinning the guilt onto someone totally innocent and using the evidence to do so. It might be my turn to say Defense Attorney Phoenix Wright chooses death, right? It doesn't suit someone like you to cry useless tears, whether you did your job well or not. That can only be decided after the verdict has been decided. That can only be seen after the verdict has been decided. The verdict? Is Prosecutor Edgeworth here? Yes, bailiff. There's a phone call. They said it's very urgent. Probably finishing with the handwriting analysis. Alright, that's all the stuff that's the same. So I just bring up Von Karma and nothing changes. Huh. So that was 4-1. So now it's 4-2. Court will now reconvene. Are both sides ready? Yes, Your Honor. Why is Edgeworth like that? I can understand the defense acting like this, however, why do you also seem distraught, Mr. Edgeworth? It's nothing. Did the handwriting come up inconclusive? Did it actually come up inconclusive? Is that not the real suicide note? It looks like something unexpected just happened. Mr. Edgeworth, could you please tell us the results of the handwriting analysis? Yes, Your Honor. Unfortunately, we have discovered that this suicide note is a forgery. Phoenix just pulled that out of his ass. Straight up. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This note was not written by Miss Impax herself. It is a fake. We just pulled that out of our butt. Mr. Edgeworth, would you care to explain what's going on? If it was not written by Miss Impax, then who wrote it? We'd need more time to do a more detailed analysis. However, it appears the handwriting matches that of the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida. So the real suicide note's still missing. Looks like Miss Impact's never left a suicide note after all. She never wrote anything about Ungard. Well, I mean, she could have still left a suicide note, but Corrida could have been like, nah, I'm gonna take the suicide note and forge my own. Your Honor, even though the suicide note is indeed a fake, Mr. Ungard could not have known that, so the facts remain unchanged. Acting under the assumption that it was real, he had plotted to possess it. Does sound very plausible. This theory that Ungard had no idea that the suicide note is fake. Something seems a little wrong with it. I mean, he had the cameras, right? Defense believes that the theory that the prosecution has stated contradicts testimony. If everything the prosecution has proven up to this point is true, then it's impossible for Ungard to not have known it was a fake because he has the spy cameras. It's a video camera, a very small one. Camera, you kids and your fancy toys. Earlier you claimed that Ungard knew of the existence of the note because he was spying on the victim. Isn't that right? If that were true, then that means Mr. Ungard would have known the victim had forged the note. So then the defendant knew the suicide note was a fake. And if that's true, then the situation has changed in a very dramatic way. Prosecution's theory as to what Mr. Ungard's motive for murder was has suddenly disappeared into thin air. But Your Honor, it's not as if Mr. Ungard monitored Corrida 24 hours a day. Perhaps the victim wrote the note in a place Mr. Ungard didn't know of. And right back at you, Edgeworth. Why don't you show us some proof that the victim made the forgery at an unknown place? Mr. Edgeworth, it looks like this time it is you who has dug his own grave. As you figured, it all comes down to this after all. Edgeworth, you're not making any sense. When I heard the results of the handwriting analysis, I thought this might happen. The question is, what next? The prosecution can't prove Ungard's motive through the evidence, then we must prove it from another angle. Prosecution would like to call a witness to the stand this time. The witness is a little unusual. Is it the defendant? This witness is one who is perfectly fit to answer once and for all the question of who was it that hired Shelley the killer to commit murder. No such person exists who can answer that question with such certainty. Who is this witness? It's the man himself, Mr. Shelley the Killer. Mr. the Killer, oh. Huh? Huh? You mean the killer, I mean the assassin. He's coming here, to the witness stand. Well, yes. I recognize this is a very unusual circumstance, so I'm asking for permission. Well, Mr. Wright, is this alright with you? Do I have a choice? I can't really do much else. Defense has no objections. What the heck? Why is he here? Why does Edgeworth know he's here? Wonder if it's really alright to do this. Like, we're establishing... no one's questioning that this guy killed him. So far, we have not questioned the fact that this guy killed him. So, like, we're at the point where we're like, yeah, this guy is the killer. This guy is an assassin. He's a killer. He murdered that motherfucker. Edgeworth, is there no other way left to us? Now then, witness, your name and occupation, please. Oh, he's coming over radio. Very good, sir. My name is Shelley the Killer, and I am a professional assassin. I say, what's going on here? Your Honor? How can you remain so calm? What is the meaning of this two-ray radio? Actually, Your Honor, it was delivered to me just now, and it came with a condition As long as we do not trace its source, Mr. DeKiller will testify to this court. So this must be what that urgent phone call he got earlier was about. This won't do. I cannot allow this in my court. First of all, we can't even be sure that this is really DeKiller himself. Witness, please present some proof that you are in fact Shelley DeKiller. I understand. Please wait a second. I'm so hungry. Maya? A voice. Mr. Wright, can you confirm anything from this? The defense has no objections to this person. We are satisfied that this man is indeed Shelley DeKiller. God damn. What the heck? It looks like we have run into yet another unexpected turn of events. It doesn't seem like we have many choices under these circumstances, so... Now then, witness, there's one thing I would like to confirm before you speak of anything else. What would that be? At the request of a client, you killed Mr. Juan Corrida, is that correct? Is as you say, I did indeed kill Mr. Corrida. Okay, now that we have answered that, let's move on to the name of your client. Very well. This is a bad dream. Yeah, that's it, a bad dream. What is Shelley gonna say? He's gonna lie. He needs to get his client innocent. There's something I must first state. To an assassin, nothing is more important than the trust between a client and himself, and that is the reason I'm here on this witness stand. It is my wish that you grasp the concept before I give you the name of my client. Mr. DeKiller seems to be a very clever man. I'd almost say he seems to be mocking us. While he may appear to be our enemy, Your Honor, Mr. DeKiller is only stating the truth. He's no hypocrite. He has always stood by this one belief. You mean about this trust between his clients and himself thing? Oh yeah, honor among thieves. That's definitely something you can trust. Seems to be a level of trust beyond what people like me can comprehend. Well, Mr. Wright, are you ready to cross-examine? There's no way to know what's coming next, so stay cool and collected, Phoenix. We can hear anything you have to say later. Can you please tell us your clients? I don't think you understand your place, Mr. Attorney. I said this is something I must first state. You know what the word first means? Yeah, that was badgering. To an assassin, nothing is more important than the trust between a client and himself. Trust between you and your client. I provide my services in a fast and efficient manner. In exchange, I trust that my clients are discreet about me and my identity. If too many people knew my face, it would be quite troublesome. That is why you're testifying in this manner? It's the first time one of my clients has ever been accused of murder. I must preserve the DeKiller name so my clients can trust me. Couldn't someone stab you in the back and break your trust? It has never happened before, but if it ever did, that person wouldn't be my client for very long. They would certainly... Okay, it was only a hypothetical anyway. That is the reason why I come here as a witness. It seems strange to me that you're about to tell us the name of your client. I would think this would be very bad for them. It doesn't matter to me. This client has already broken the rules and acted outside of the prescribed role. This person tried to implicate another of the crime in order to save themselves. This person tried to implicate another of the crime in order to save themselves. Who did Ungard try to implicate? Andrews? I don't think he tried to implicate Andrews. And this is a trespass that cannot be forgiven. Who gave you the right to be so high and mighty? To the gentleman who spoke, excuse me, but would you care to die? It is my wish that you grasp this concept before I give the name of my client. Please, tell us the name of your client. I'm afraid I can't do that. I still have a few things I have to say before I do. It's not good for your health to be so aggravated. You wouldn't live very long if you let everything bother you. I don't really care about this extra fluff, just tell us the name already. Patience. Try to calm down a little. It's important for us to understand his mindset. He seems steadfast and closed, so you're gonna have to work to get him to talk. Huh. So there's a contradiction somewhere. To an assassin, nothing is more important than trust between the client and himself. And that is the reason I'm here on the witness stand. It is my wish that you grasp this concept before I give the name of my client. Oh, I see. It's something about the camera or the transceiver. Okay, nope, it's not that. Nothing is more important than... Nope. I thought for sure it would be this. Nothing is more important than the... What did he say to this? The trust between you and your client. I provide my services in fast and efficient. Trust that my clients are discreet about me and my identity. These are the roles and duties as client. I was wondering about something you just said. So that your client had already broken the rules. Oh, it's one of these things again. The person who frames another is the worst kind of human. That's why you feel you can betray this person. I have no trust relation with a client who can't understand their assigned role. An assassin with a conscience, who would have figured? Do you think you can understand my logic? This case just keeps getting better and better. If you can't, then I'm afraid we can't proceed. Everyone understands your point, I think, really. I'm prepared to disclose the information you seek. I do believe it's about time I revealed the name of my client. Oh, he changed. Now I can't bring myself to ask the client's name. If you can't ask Mr. Wright, then I will. Witness. What is the name of the client who requested the murder of Mr. Juan Cordo? That person's name is... Adrian Andrews. Huh? So he's still lying. Witness. That's not what you told me it was earlier. Pray tell, what are you talking about, Mr. Prosecutor? I should think I know my own client, and it is Adrian Andrews. On the phone earlier. My guess is that Mr. DeKiller just stabbed Edward in the back. I'm sure in order to get an audience, Mr. DeKiller told him a different name, Madame Guard, perhaps. This is outrageous. I was deceived. This witness is telling a very serious lie. You're the one who summoned this witness. Shelley DeKiller. My testimony is the truth. The defendant at the moment is Matt on guard, am I correct? All I wish to do is help procure his acquittal. All of a sudden it feels like we can actually win this. I don't know if we can do that. Prosecution has failed to provide a motive, has instead provided this suicide note, which is a forgery created by the victim. Furthermore, there is a possibility that the defendant himself knew it was a fake, but most definitive of all, we have heard from the assassin himself the name of his client. Mr. DeKiller's client who requested the murder was not the defendant at all. It seems obvious to me that this means that Mr. Mattengard is innocent. Seem to have caused you all a bit of confusion. Please continue your discussion. Call me when you have reached a verdict. Beep. Please bring Miss Adrian Andrews immediately. This may be our last chance to save Maya. Edgeworth is right, the killer is lying, and Ungard is my client. I know he's guilty. What am I objecting for? Adrian hired the killer. It all makes sense now. If Adrian just hired the killer, then it would be perfect. Alright, who would have believed that the prosecution's own witness would absolve the defendant? Your Honor, the prosecution requests permission to further question the witness. Surely the killer is certainly lying under oath. It wasn't me. Listen everyone, please. That testimony just now, it was one big lie. Miss Andrews, the suicide note may have been a fake, but that man, Matt, he's the reason Celeste died. And Juan's death, it was all because he got pulled into Matt's twisted world. Testimony just now, you have to believe me, it was a horrible, horrible lie. Mr. DeKiller himself has testified. He has named you as his client. So you believe witness testimony just blindly like that? There's quite a bit of evidence that points to you. The knife and the button donning this nickel samurai costume. Why would she go in the room if she hired him, Judge? She'd be like, alright, motherfucker's dead. She would have left the calling card. She wouldn't have taken the calling card. You even have a motive. We know that Celeste Impacts was a large part of your life. You wanted to follow her and you wanted revenge against the two that hurt her. You have plenty of reasons to want them both dead. Mr. Wright, you know the truth. Tell them. Tell them the real story. Who the real killer is. I can't. Can't, Andrews. I'm sorry. I literally can't. I believe we reached the end of the trial, therefore I ask the defense for any final words or opinions. I have to decide. Do I take the not guilty verdict and save Maya, or do I throw this chance away and wait for Gumshoe's new evidence? What am I supposed to do? I read somewhere that there's a bad ending to this. I just don't know where it would be. I don't know how to... Also, I don't really care about getting the bad ending. Because it's not like I can get... I don't... Does this game... I'm pretty sure this game has achievements, but I don't really care that much. This game has its moments where testimony is just accepted regardless of evidence. Yeah. The big decision is later. Alright. Request the trial continue. I can't do it. I can't accept him not guilty. You are a lawyer. I know. Mattengard is a killer, a murderer. I can't let him get away with this. I can't let someone else take the fall. If I let Andrews be convicted, then I'm no better than Ungard. Even though I don't want to admit it, I have to face the fact that it's because of Edgeworth that I now know the real truth. Could have gotten Ungard convicted so many times over, but he never took a single one of those chances. If I take this verdict, I'd be betraying his trust. His trust? Never thought it until now. I trust him. Yeah, you do. Mr. Wright, your opinion. The defense requests that we be allowed to further question Mr. DeKiller. Am I hearing you correctly? Right? But That witness has cleared your client through his testimony. Your job here is done. I'm not done. To see through the witness's lies and find the truth. That is my job. Still more evidence to look at. I'm sure one of these pieces, or once those pieces arrive here in this very courtroom, a miracle will occur. Trial will continue. Mr. Edgeworth, please re-establish connection with the killer. Has a verdict been reached? For that, we would like to talk with you a little more. About? All you needed from me was the name of my client. What else could you need me for? Actually, we would like to hear everything you know about this case. That is how things are usually done. Usually done? What shall we have him testify about now? Mr. Killer, if you don't mind, please testify about your client in more detail. You legal people and your procedures. Is it any wonder no one likes going to court? My client, part 2. As I've already stated quite a few times, Adrian Andrews is my client. However, one thing I simply cannot overlook is tampering with the scene of the crime. My client did it to frame another for the crime. While pretending to be the first person to discover the body and enter the scene, Adrian Andrews already knew from the very beginning that Juan Correa was dead. Oh, so the entire thing about the trust being broken is a lie, too. The trust was broken, but for a different... I guess the trust wasn't broken. The blackmail isn't enough? That's so weird. The killer is either oblivious or doesn't care that Ungard has video of the murder. Andrews already knew from the beginning that Juan Correa was dead. Even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button. That act is what I was referring to when I said the client had broken the rules. Most unexpected turn of events for the 5th time now? Everything has finally been revealed. Just a second, Your Honor. We still have cross-examination to do, but you don't need to question testimony like this, do you, Mr. Wright? The defense will question the witness. Why? What the witness has said is nothing but beneficial to the defense's case. If you scrutinize the testimony, then I'll expose the lies of an oh-so-beneficial testimony, I suppose. I don't understand what's going on anymore. That makes 2 of us. Does the killer know about the videos? He was in Ungard's house. He probably did. It would be really dumb for him not to know. Adrian Andrews is my client. What is it, Mr. Wright? If I press him the wrong way, it might raise suspicions on his end, but I have to do something to waste more time. About requesting a hit. How much is your fee? See, you are also quite a dark-hearted man, Mr. Attorney. If you'd like to talk business, we can do so after the trial. Mr. Wright, you want to kill me? You want me dead, don't you? You are declared guilty. Witness, let's continue. Why did you disclose the name? They're not your client, are they not? One thing I cannot overlook is tampering with the scene of the crime. I'd like to think that most people wouldn't be able to overlook a person hiring another to kill him. If I had a problem with such a thing, I wouldn't be very effective at my job. I will say this, even though I am the one that does the deed, my clients are always the real guilty party. It goes without saying. And their fate is to live with the knowledge of their guilt on their shoulders. However, my client this time thought they could run away from their guilt. My client did it to frame another for the crime. Talking about the button and the knife? Yes, and my business card. So that no one has to waste their time, including the police, I always make it a point to make things as easy as possible. My business card. But to disregard everything, stab the deceased with a knife, and even hide my card from sight is something I cannot overlook. While pretending to be the first person to discover the body and enter the scene. So you're saying most clients wouldn't do such a thing. That's correct. Usually most people try to create an alibi for themselves. If you should use my services, Mr. Attorney, I would suggest you plan for your alibi too. I have no intention of using your services, ever. Adrian Andrews already knew from the beginning that Juan Corrida was dead. From the very beginning. That's correct. From before my client visited the room, all my clients know precisely what the situation is at all times. I wonder if that's really true. That's odd. But that's a contradiction. Even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button. Why do you think your client did that? What do you mean by why? Fiddling around the scene of the crime is pretty risky. Why would someone who requested a murder go into the crime scene anyway? Probably done to frame on guard. Why didn't the person just request that you do it? Sadly, that's not possible. My job is to kill, that's all, and to leave my business card behind. The business card is so my clients may escape blame. To protect them is my duty. Even if they say it's for revenge, setting someone up to take your fall. That act is what I was referring to when I say my client had broken the rules. And that's all you have to testify. I pray I will never be called to the stand again. I've yet to find a person to take my place and become the fourth successor. Actually, how would you like a new life, Mr. Attorney? Huh? Phoenix has only been in one fighting game, not action game. All I can do is expose the lies. You realize that would be bad for a client, right? If she already knew that Juan was dead, why would she leave fingerprints at the scene of the crime? Right? Why would she pour the glass? Why would she do all that stuff? Thanks for taking the time to testify, Mr. DeKiller. What was the meaning of that attitude? When Adrian Andrews entered the victim's room, your client had no idea Juan Corrida had been murdered. How do you know that? From the wine glass. Mr. DeKiller's supposed client thought Mr. Corrida had only fainted, which is why the glass of tomato juice was poured for the victim. Isn't that just a part of Adrian Andrews' calculated plan? It's not possible. This glass bears the fingerprints of that person. Had this been planted, they would have never left their fingerprints behind. Edgeworth, what's your opinion? Strangely enough, I had the same exact thought. Yeah, why leave fingerprints? How do you explain this strange phenomenon? Isn't it a waste of time to ask about such a minor detail? It's not a very important point anyway, correct? I'm afraid you're mistaken. If Adrian Andrews is really your client, as you claim, then your client should have knowledge of Mr. Corrida's death. If not, then it can only mean that Adrian Andrews was never your client at all. How strange. Why is it that the attorney has yet to raise an objection at this absurd situation? If the killer figures out what we're up to, we're in real trouble. Sir Edgeworth, I'm surprised. You know you can't say things like that without any evidence. Ah, sorry. That was awfully weak objection for the two of you. I'm positive there was a contradiction in that testimony. The prosecution requests further testimony concerning when the request was taken. I have to buy more time. While we wait for the items the killer left behind to get here, I just know that the very outcome of this trial lies with those items. I wonder if we'd still get those items even if Von Karma didn't get presented as someone who could track Gumshoe. This request came to me, about a week ago. It was a request for my services on the night of the award ceremony. We met at a certain bar to discuss and finalize a few matters. That is what occurred. I trust my memory, and I believe I have made no mistakes. So you physically met your client. That's correct. Meeting one's client is the first step in building trust. Okay. About a week ago. I'm quite sure. I, of course, had my own preparations, and I was barely able to finish. When you request my services, Mr. Attorney, I hope you keep that in mind. In any case, my client this time had a very specific date and time in mind. Specific date and time? Yeah, because of the freaking cameras. There's a request for my services on the night of the awards ceremony. Did you ask why on that specific night? No, I tried to fulfill all of the conditions of my client's request, but as for why, I only had my suspicions. What are these suspicions? Why did your client request that night? Sure, it was all for the bear. The bear? My client spoke of it. I'm sure there will be a bear-shaped figurine in Juan Corrida's room. I would like you to retrieve that item for me. Inside that figurine was a suicide note. Naturally, the victim brought it with him to his hotel room. He was planning to publicly disclose its contents at the press conference, after all. That's correct. If I had not done the job that night, I would not have known where the bear figurine was. Is the testimony just now of any importance? Bear figurine, huh? Was it of any importance? I don't know. Sure, yeah, it was very important. Client knew the secret of the bear figurine. We already knew that. Okay, maybe not. Okay, let's try again. Maybe it wasn't important. Hold on, let me read that again. I'm sure it was all for the bear. Bear? My client spoke of it. I'm sure there will be a bear-shaped figurine in Juan Corrida's room. I would like you to retrieve that item for me. If I had not done the job that night, I would not have known where the bear figurine was. Okay, what if I say it's not important? Well, the killer sounds plausible, but in the end, it's just his conjecture. I don't think it's very important. So you physically met Miss Adrian Andrews, right? Of course I did. I'd like you give us a few more details. Always meet my client as a matter of principle. I've never taken a request by telephone or mail. Why is that? It's traceable. I value a trust between a client and myself above all else. The only way to establish that is by speak to the client while looking them in the eye. Was the testimony just now of any importance? He didn't say anything material. Why he meets his client is not important, and that wasn't the point. Witness, please stop sidestepping my questions. What do you mean? Did you really meet Adrian Andrews in person? I've already told you, Mr. Wright, I did. It was only through talking with him face to face that I began to trust him? That's when I thought, I can trust this person as a client. Okay, yeah, he said him. Your Honor, I believe the testimony just now was of utmost importance. Witness, please include the statement in your testimony. From the moment I saw him, I thought I can trust this person as a client. But we know now that's not how it turned out. What do you mean? Adrian Andrews turned out to be a client who couldn't stick to the rules, right? I suppose you're correct. Sure your testimony is accurate? From the moment I saw him, yeah, well, Adrian Andrews is a woman. I'd like to go over this one more time. You met Adrian Andrews at a bar and took a request at that time. That's correct. And that's when you thought he was trustworthy. Yes, that is correct. Sorry, but that's an impossible tale. Shelley the Killer, you've never met Adrian Andrews. Why do you say that? Because you made one very big slip-up about her. So what is the issue? What did you say? About her? If you had ever met Adrian Andrews in person, one look would have told you that she is a woman. Well, you can't say that anymore. The transceiver fucking blew up. Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this? The witness has testified to the following. He always meets face-to-face with his clients when taking a request, but he has never met Andrews in person. That means the killer's client could not have been Adrian Andrews. It's sweating. I understand your logic, however, why would the assassin make such a basic mistake? I believe it has to do with her name. Adrian Andrews is without a doubt a very androgynous name. Unlucky for Mr. DeKiller, the entire time he was on the stand, no one has stated Adrian Andrews' gender. Yeah, I was wondering why they never said Miss Adrian Andrews. It kept saying Adrian Andrews. No one said Miss. I actually thought about that. I was like, they normally say Miss Adrian Andrews. But they hadn't been saying Miss Adrian Andrews for some reason. Like, that's very convenient that they just weren't saying Miss Adrian Andrews. So he simply picked the wrong gender to go with. Hey, that's why they, them is perfect. No one identified with her with gender? Yeah, no one did. Every time they brought up Adrian Andrews, it was Adrian Andrews. But in the last case, or in the last trial, everyone was saying Miss Adrian Andrews. And this is why they, them pronouns are the best, because you can just use they, them for everyone. What's going on here? Shelley the Killer. This court demands an explanation. I think somehow I've mixed up this client with another. Does that mean you remember something different now? Yes, of course. Please, if you'd like me to testify, if you would allow me to testify once more. I know he's gonna spit out more lies. When does Treasure Map Planner go live? I don't know. I don't manage the Treasure Map Planner. Usually like 1 or 2 days. Usually 1 day after Newsday. This time, please tell us the truth and nothing but the truth. Yeah, I don't remember his Reddit name because it's just, it's like an X and a bunch of numbers. But it's on the bottom of the Treasure Map Planner. But yeah, they usually update it within a couple of days. He and his wife. Took that request by mail. There have been times where I took a job without having met my client. The request was for the murder of Juan Corda and 2 or 3 other small things. When I saw the name at the end of the letter, I thought my client to be a man. ZL1814, yeah. That's it. So he took this job through a letter. He didn't mention anything about... Did I say X? Yeah, I meant Z. Didn't mention anything about a letter in his earlier testimony, which means he's definitely lying. If you break an assassin's testimony completely, it's over. Can't make him suspicious, but I think we're okay. Like, we can do this. As long as he's standing there across from me. No matter how strong of a punch I throw, he'll counter it. Took the request by mail. You just said you didn't take requests by mail. Didn't you say you always meet your clients? I suppose I did say that. However, there are some clients for whom a meeting is simply not possible. Didn't you meet your client this time? No, I did not. Stop this game of cat and mouse. Using your silkiest voice is not going to work on me. Silkiest? Cough it up and confess. You're a lawyer, so behave like one and present evidence instead of mindlessly yelling. Do you have proof that Mr. the Killer met with his client? No, I don't. That is the nature of right and wrong. Ha ha ha, very funny, Edgeworth. There have been times when I took a job without having met my client. Why would you not meet certain clients? Recently, I've been receiving more requests. If I met each and every one, I would lose some nice business opportunities. On top of which, times have changed. It is now the age of information and computers. I have joined the times and now take requests via electronic mail. Very traceable electronic mail. You have to mail that in a very special insulated envelope? I'm very terribly sorry. I despise the shortening of words. What I meant by electronic mail is what is commonly referred to as email. Email? In a contest of mimicry, the judge would beat a parrot hands down. Took this job without having met your client, and the request was for Juan Corrida and 2 or 3 other small things. What were these other things? A few things that have nothing to do with the case. It'd be really bad if I pushed his buttons the wrong way and he got mad. Alright. Fine. 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 I'll save. I think I should press further. Whether or not they're related to this case is for the court to decide. Mr. Attorney. Everything I've said from the beginning has been nothing but beneficial to your client, which is why I wonder what is pushing you to continue with this cross-examination. Could it be that you're planning to betray your own client? I smell the stench of a backstabber. And should you turn out to be one, I shouldn't press my luck. Is this worth pursuing? I mean, yeah, why not? Witness, this is a very important matter. Please cooperate and tell us what other jobs your client requested were. Confusion powder. Is that important? I suppose I don't have much of a choice. The bear figurine. After the assassination, I was to find that figurine. I was told that this job was just as important as the actual killing. Where was the figurine? Inside Mr. Corrida's suitcase. What did you do next? Handed it over to my client. Gave it to your client. Interesting. Please include what you stated in your testimony. One of these was to find the bear figurine and give it to Adrian Andrews. I found this figurine at Mr. Ungard's mansion. If you gave it to Miss Andrews, then what would it be doing there? I was waiting for her there. That was part of the plan to frame Mr. Ungard, I'm sure. You have a problem with this piece of testimony. Sure, there's a contradiction. So the killer says he gave the figurine to Miss Andrews, but I know there's somewhere in that statement there's a contradiction, and yet I know if I present something trivial here, he'll cut the connection. If you want to make a strong point, you have to present strong evidence. You gave Andrews the bear figure, and she wanted you to take the bear and wait for her at Ungard Mansion. Is that correct? Where are you going with this? I think you might have remembered a few things incorrectly. I don't think it's possible for Miss Andrews to have been the recipient of this bear. They look so similar, but this guy doesn't have the white streak on the top of his head. I don't think it's possible for Miss Andrews to have been the recipient of the bear. I have no clue. Is it Lotto's photo? Am I finally disproving what I presented before, that Andrews was wearing the nickel samurai costume? Am I finally disproving that theory that I tried to present? I don't think it's possible for Miss Andrews to have been the recipient of this bear. I went to visit the water closet. If you ask me any more of these pointless questions, there will be no mercy. Well, I tried. Do I have any problems with that piece of testimony? There is a contradiction. So the killer says he gave the bear figurine to Miss Andrews, but I know that somewhere in that statement there is a contradiction, and yet I know that if I present something trivial here, cut the connection on his end. I have to present strong evidence. You gave Miss Andrews the bear figurine, and she told you to take the bear and wait for her. You presented it to her, and then she told you to take the bear and wait at Ungard Mansion. Okay, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't she just open the bear right then and there, right? Right? She would have just unlocked the bear and gotten the note. The bear was still assembled. Yeah. If you had really given the bear to Miss Andrews, this item should not have been inside it. This item? I see where you're going. That's where I'm going. Where's everyone going? Do I need to pack a suitcase? Please think back to Miss Andrews' testimony. I was gonna burn it for her sake. If even for a single minute, this bear had really been in Miss Andrews' hands, I'm sure she would have taken the suicide note out and burned it. So that's where you two were going. By the very fact that the suicide note was still inside the bear, it tells us that your client didn't know how to assemble the puzzle. Which means... It means, Your Honor, that it's impossible for Adrian Andrews to be the client. Order. Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'm sure I mentioned this before. I'm surprised that presenting the photo that Andrews was wearing the costume and the person who received it was in costume, that should have come up at some point. And that Andrews went there after the murder. So like there's definitely a weird timeline thing going on here, but I'm sure you know how I hate traitors above all else. I think your cross-examination has demonstrated something to me. You wish to break your end of our agreement. That's enough. If this is your attention, there's only one thing for me to do. Please, gentlemen, ladies, please excuse me. I have a matter I must attend to. Please, not that. Please wait. Mr. Attorney, bring this trial to a speedy end, or I may stay my hand. Otherwise... What in the... Mr. Wright, are you... Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. I didn't understand what this witness's outburst just now. Do you think there's a need to hear more testimony, or is this enough? Well, we should. Edgeworth, we can't do this. If we keep this up, Maya, she'll... Prosecution, What has come over everyone? Even you were. Prosecution rests. What's going on around here? Prosecution has no further questions, Your Honor. What? Huh? Objection. Nope, okay. No fade to black objection. Never thought I'd see the day. This is the most unusual situation. The prosecution rests with no further questions, and the prosecution has failed to uphold its stance. If that is the case, then even though I'm reluctant, I must believe that Mr. DeKiller's testimony is accurate. That would mean that Shelley DeKiller's client is Adrian Andrews. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. If I end the trial right here, right now, then your client, Matt Ungard, would be declared innocent, and in his place, Adrian Andrews would be charged with murder. Can't do double jeopardy. Prosecution has no further questions. We'll now hear the defense's final remarks. Bailiff, bring the defendant to the stand. Items from DeKiller's hideout didn't make it in time. We tried as hard as we could, but it looks like our time has run out. The outcome now lies in your hands. Oh man. The old guy finally decided, to be honest, I can't think of you as a truly innocent and good person. You have done enough evil to drive a woman to suicide, but we didn't prove that that was true. At least on the charge of murder, it would appear you were innocent. Haha. Oh wow, he went full Joker mode. I guess even the old fuddy-duddy figured me out. Mr. Ungard, what an atrocious lawyer I have, giving up his own client like this. And that refreshing like a spring breeze crap, it's just as atrocious, don't you agree? Get on with it and pronounce me innocent already. Right, Mr. Lawyer? Should I side with justice, or should I save Maya's life? Better get Ungard a guilty sentence. But if I did that, Maya will die. If I say he's innocent, Miss Andrews will be charged as a murderer. Do I say he's guilty or not guilty? Either choice I make, someone's life is gonna end. All hinges on what I choose. Let's hear the defense's final statements on this matter. If the person who hired the assassin was Adrian Andrews, then your client, Mr. Matt Ungard, is innocent. There's no need to ask, old man. After all, my lawyer isn't gonna say what I want, aren't you? Is going to say what I want. Can't do this, but I have to decide something. I can't count on the evidence to help me anymore. I have to listen to my heart. My client, Mr. Matt Ungard, is... I need to save Maya, but Maya wouldn't forgive me. Guilty. We are waiting for your answer, Mr. Wright. Matt Ungard, your client deserves an answer. I'm sorry, Maya. Oh, Von Karma? Franziska Von Karma? Just in time. You see now, don't you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? This is exactly why you should never take your eyes off that scruffy fool. Did you bring them the final pieces? Do you have them? You should know better than to ask that, Mr. Edgeworth. Von Karma is perfect in every way. The evidence is in perfect condition. Don't worry about Scruffy. He's fine and his injuries are minor. All of the items are inside this. What a filthy old coat this is. It's it's Gumshoe's coat. I apologize for its ugliness, but there was nothing else to wrap the items in. I fought long and hard for this whole trial, all for what's inside that raggedy coat. I'm sure inside that coat lies a crucial piece of evidence. I could easily prove Matt Ungard guilty. What more evidence do I need? Inside that filthy goat are the defense's final pieces of evidence. This trial's already over. All that remains is for me to hand out my verdict. I do not believe that any evidence presented now would change the outcome of this trial. Huh? Your Honor, it's our duty to examine every piece of evidence down to the last. I request that Miss Von Karma be allowed to present these pieces of evidence. I suppose you're right, Edgeworth, and I grant you permission to do so. One obvious rule applies here. If these items do not bring up any new points, they will not be accepted by the court. Von Karma, if you please. Pieces of evidence are items left by the killer during his escape from the police. 3 pieces of evidence. There must be something that will turn this whole situation around like a miracle, I'm sure of it. First item is a pistol. Does the killer's pistol have anything to do with this case? We have yet to perform ballistics tests, so I can't say for certain. However, I believe it has something to do with this case, at least with me. Oh yeah, she was shot. That's the pistol he used to shoot you, isn't it? What I believe, yes. I have the bullet they removed from my shoulder as a sort of memento. I'm sure it will be an excellent sample for the test. Yeah, you know. Because she's like her dad. Bullet to the shoulder. So that's the pistol that was used to shoot Franziska. It's probably not going to help us very much. Second is this of this evidence is a videotape. Have you checked the contents of that tape? There was no time to. I'd speculate that the tape is very important. Why would you say that? Because he came back to his hideout for it. The killer went back for it? Looks like he was trying to recover it. He injured 3 of the officers at the site. Somehow it looks like they managed to protect it from the killer. Shelly the killer is no ordinary man. Contents unknown. Last piece is this bellboy uniform. Was that used during the crime? Almost certain it was. There's even a pair of black leather gloves in one of the pockets. Okay, that's pretty conclusive. There's one thing I found interesting about this uniform, and what is that? There's a button missing. Very unique button. I'm sure if we were able to recover it, it would provide us with an interesting clue. One of its special buttons is missing. That is all I have to present. It's just as I thought. What is that, Your Honor? I'm sure were we under normal circumstances, these items would be very important clues. However, our questioning is not who did the killing, it is who is the client. And these items do not tell us anything about that. Thank you for your hard work, Miss Von Karma. You may step down now. Wait, Your Honor. Please allow me to examine this new evidence. Overruled. This court has all the evidence it needs to hand down a verdict. Absolutely wonderful. The judge is such a brilliant man, isn't he? Phoenix, I knew it. There's no such thing as a miracle in this world, is there? I think you're wrong. I think they do exist. You have to let that miracle happen. You've come this far, you can't give up now. No matter how I think about it, how you think about it, it's try for my sake. Just think about it for a second. There are 2 ways out of the situation for us. The first, make Ungard wish from the bottom of his soul for a guilty verdict. The killer always places his client's wishes first. If Ungard wishes himself to be convicted, then he'll let his hostage go. Okay. The second way, force the killer to end his contract with Ungard. If the killer were no longer to think of Ungard as his client, then he would let Maya go. Yeah, that's tough. He's a man who values his duty towards his client above all else. Well, no, he values trust between him and his client. Both seem like impossible feats, but if you can make either one happen, it would truly be a miracle. Judge has already said he doesn't need more evidence. The pieces he was just shown, he's not accepting them. Phoenix, think about this from the other side. Isn't that what has always worked for us? You mean to turn things around? The judge says he doesn't need the evidence. If that's the case, then who does need it? Edgeworth. We've all seen the pieces of evidence, and that is how we have come to know the truth. There's one person who has yet to see them all. That person does not know the truth. The judge. Lord Shiro. Save time? I need to save? Alright. I'll save here. The truth. It may be what will bring about the miracle in the end. For special dialogue, get this choice wrong. Save before, obviously. There are no objections this time, correct? Now then, I will pronounce my verdict. Why don't we sit back and listen, kids? Okay, I objected. I've already told you, Mr. Wright, this court does not need more evidence. I'm not saying it's us that needs more evidence, Your Honor. You want to show the evidence to that person? Yes, Your Honor. Who am I showing the evidence to? Someone not in the courtroom? The correct answer is someone not in the courtroom? Grant you one chance. Show your evidence to who you think is the right person. So it'd either be Ungard or Shelly the killer. Those are the two people in Mia's condition, right? Either Ungard has to decide he's guilty or Shelly has to end the contract with Ungard. So one of them is the correct answer. So I'll just spit out a wrong answer, right? Everything that has happened, think Phoenix. There must be some way to save Maya while taking Ungard down at the same time. Who would you like to show the evidence to? So I need to choose the wrong answer here. So let's just throw out someone who I know will be absolutely the wrong answer, Pearl. Tell this court that one piece of evidence you would like to show this person. My attorney badge. Like, this has to be the wrong answer. I was just shot, so... Von Karma doesn't care. Cannot allow the defense to continue. No one understands what you're talking about anymore. I'll now state my verdict. The court finds Ungard not guilty. Court is adjourned. And just like that, case came to an end. I ran away from the courtroom and wandered the streets alone. Never saw Maya again. What? Killer is a man of his word, so I'm sure he released her. I heard the verdict of Miss Andrews' trial a few days later. She was found guilty, of course. What? How did they find her guilty? Well, yeah, they're gonna accuse her of hiring. The miracle never happened. Maybe it was never meant to. Because a miracle is something that doesn't exist. The end. Damn. Alright. So that's the bad ending. I was expecting the bad ending to be a little bit harder to get, but no, it's just screw up that one decision and you get the bad ending. Who would I like to show evidence to? Either Matt Ungard or Shelly. What can I show to Matt Ungard? It has to be one of these three things. I can't think of a way to make Matt Ungard want to be guilty. I can think of a way to make Shelly break the contract, right? Because if Matt was filming it, then that would be a breach of contract. But I can't think of a way to make Matt want to be guilty. This has never been brought up. You only need to do one of Mia's options. Yeah, I know. I just want to know how to do the other one. Because the Shelly one is easy. It's show the videotape to Shelly. But I don't know what I would show Matt to make him want to be guilty other than, like, Celeste's photo. Like, that's the only thing I can think of. So, I guess I'll just do Shelly. The one piece of evidence you'd like to show this person, videotape. I think there's some merit in showing evidence to that witness. Please bring in the transceiver from earlier. Looks like I managed to convince him. Maya, she's okay, right? Didn't I tell you to concern yourself with bringing a speedy end to this trial? Now, if I understand correctly, you wish to show me one piece of evidence? One is all I need. I have a videotape. It was found at your hideout. I heard you injured 3 officers in your attempt to get this back. This was the only correct option. I've heard it can work if you show Matt the video, but I've not seen anyone do it that way. Huh. Why would that make Matt want to be guilty? Just the violence of it all? Yeah, I don't know. I was told to protect that videotape. Oh, so that's why the killer was at the house. They still never answer why Phoenix went to the house to feed the cat. I think that is just a, hey, we need a reason for Phoenix to go to the house to see the cat. I'm afraid I've failed in that regard. Do you know the contents of this tape? I was sternly told by my client to not watch it, so I have absolutely no idea. Actually, you're on this tape. Me? There's a video camera hidden at the crime scene. Your actions were being recorded. I guess if you show the tape to Unguard, he'd be like, if you show that to Shelly the killer, he's gonna kill me. Find me guilty, let me go to jail, right? I guess that would make sense. Is that true, Mr. Wright? Who was it that planted that camera? The only person who could have planted the camera at the scene of crime would be your client, naturally. Adrian Andrews. Be quiet and listen, Your Honor. Your client specified a place and time for you, isn't that right? Yes. That was so they could film you. I had no idea. Mr. Wright, why would my client do such a thing? I'd like to know why. Why did Matt Unguard film the crime scene? The reason why he did this is my ticket out of this whole mess. There's only one reason why your client would secretly film the crime scene. They wanted to blackmail you. Tell him if the killer discovers the video and why he did it to killer would make him suffer. Yeah, exactly. So the only evidence that you can show is the video, and it really doesn't matter if the killer or Unguard sees it. It would have the same effect. Either Unguard wants to become guilty, or the killer would get his just desserts. Client once told me something very interesting. We were talking about you, and this is what they said. I'm no weakling. I don't believe anyone, least of all assassins. Come on now, assassins aren't above blackmail. That's where the video comes in. With that, I can keep him at bay and even blackmail him if I want. Your client didn't trust you at all. They were thinking of using this video to blackmail you. What do you have to say to that, Shelly the killer? Oh no. Oh. It looks like I was being deceived from the very beginning. By a natural. This is the kind of person they are. Your client is a person who only thinks and plots of how to use the people around them to protect themselves from any and all dangers that may arise. That is the true nature of your client. I have one question for the witness. Yep. You told us numerous times during your testimony, you said that you detest traitors most of all. Yeah, that's right. What if that traitor was your own client? What would you do then? That's obvious. I would break our contract. Yep, there it is. And then the client would be my next target. See, I needed that information in order to put Unguard on blast. I would have needed to know that. For the honor of the killer name, even if it takes an eternity, I would follow that person to the ends of the earth to exact my punishment. Have a good Lord Shiro. That's all I wanted to know. Yeah, if I could have asked that question earlier, like what happens if someone breaks your trust and they're a client? So the traitor becomes the killer's next target. I get it. This is how we'll turn this case around. Mr. Wright, yes? My contract with my client is over as of now. That was easy. I seem to have a new job on my hands. I will now return to you your precious item. I'm not an item. Beep. Maya, I thought I'd never see you again. Oh, thank goodness. That's it, right? Trial appears to have come to its conclusion, however, I don't quite know just what happened right there on the witness stand. Miss Von Karma, where did that... She always has you in her sights. Now, I believe it's time to finally hand down a verdict. Yep, now he's sweating. Mr. On Guard, it looks like somehow you got what you wanted. Oops. I'd like to make one final statement. Sometime in the future, one very betrayed assassin may appear before you. Needless to say, that man is very good at what he does. I'm sure you know what he would do to you if he found you. Help me. Now then, Your Honor, the verdict if you please. Is that alright with you, Mr. Wright? We've reached the end of a very long battle. Whether he's convicted or acquitted, there's no escape for him now. Plead guilty, right? We just plead guilty at this point? Yeah, plead guilty. Matt on guard. Even though I am a lawyer, I cannot make your crime disappear. I think a guilty verdict is appropriate here. Me? I wonder myself, guilty? Even if you got an acquittal, the instant you set foot outside the detention center, your life would be in danger. No matter which way you look at it, you can't run away from your crime anymore. Oh my god, he's scratching up his own face. As always, it looks like we have uncovered the real truth. We? The judge didn't want to see any of those. What was with the missing button and the jacket, the bellboy outfit? It was all just red herrings. Mr. Edgeworth, how is Matt on guard? I have left Miss Von Karma in charge of his incarceration. I'm sure he's getting a full course meal of whip leather right about now. I like how they're just like, yeah, you can abuse the suspects. Who cares? It was a close one, wasn't it, witness? I plan to pay my debt to society for my own crime, Your Honor. First time I was called to the witness stand during this trial, all I felt was despair. She must be talking about that time that Edgeworth went after her. I guess she's trying to forgive him for what he did. This witness, how should I put it? She has an illness. If you're going to say that you would choose death, that is no concern to me. But after that, when I was alone in the detention center, that's the first time I really saw myself for who I am. And today, when the two of you used your combined strength to convict Matt, I felt like I had finally been saved. It's the first time I've seen her smile. I don't know how to express how I feel at this moment. This is the first time I felt comfortable with myself, with who I am. Thank you so much, everyone. Looks like we have resolved everything at last. As for myself, there are a few things I'm confused about, but everyone seems to be in good spirits, and that is good enough for me. The judge is just like, I don't know what's going on, but sounds good. Court is adjourned. We didn't get the guilty. I guess he pled guilty, so whatever. You're great out there, Phoenix. What I did out there was right, wasn't it? This is the first time you've not gotten your client off. Got them a guilty verdict this time, but you have to look past all of that to what's really important. You now realize there's something more than just getting a not guilty, right? Yeah, I understand now. Phoenix, think back for a second. Think to the moments before Miss Von Karma arrived with that final piece of evidence. Think about the incredible decision you had to make. Let's hear the defense's final statements. Can't count on evidence, I have to listen to my heart. Should I side with justice or should I save Maya's life? My client is... Is he guilty or is he not guilty? Those were your choices, and your answer spoke to what being a lawyer means to you. I said guilty. I was like, Maya would never forgive me, so... Edgeworth, I have good news. Maya is safe in police custody. Really? Pearls? You're telling us the truth, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, she's quite safe. She's on her way here as we speak in a patrol car. Mystic Maya, safe. You did it. You really did it, Mr. Nick. She punches deceptively hard for a kid. Kids punch hard as heck. I believed in you. I kept saying to myself, Mr. Nick will save her. Thanks, Pearls. What's wrong? Miss Von Karma. About earlier. Thanks. Ow. Why are you smiling, Mr. Phoenix Wright? You lost. Perfect record has now been crushed, and yet you're still happy? I don't think you'll ever understand, Miss Von Karma. How dare you? Don't worry. She may in time. After all, I was like that myself until a year ago. Edgeworth? For my own personal victories and for guilty verdicts. I used every dirty trick in the book, and so my win record remained spotless. Yeah, y'all manipulated witnesses. Hardcore. But a man appeared and stood fast against that selfish me. I fought against him in my usual manner and tasted my first defeat. I felt like I had lost everything because of that. And then it was my turn to sit in the defendant's chair. And I was saved by that person I called my enemy. I couldn't forgive myself for all that had happened, so I left the prosecutor's office. And I left that note. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth chooses death. As well you should have. A prosecutor who has shamed himself with defeat should crawl into a hole and die. But that's not what happened. After I left the prosecutor's office, I finally came to realize something. And it was in that moment of clarity that everything began to change. What foolish nonsense. We prosecutors use anything we can to attack the defendant, but every time we did so, no matter how desperate the situation, instead of giving up like most people, that man would hold strong with his undying faith. And then before I knew it, I began to trust in that man as well. You trusted your enemy? What? It doesn't matter how many underhanded tricks a person uses, the truth will always find a way to make itself known. Well... The only thing we can do is fight with the knowledge we hold and everything we have. Erasing the paradoxes one by one. It's never easy. We claw and scratch for every inch. I still never brought up how the handoff was definitely to Matt. I'm surprised that was never brought up. We will always eventually reach that one single truth, this I promise you. The truth? Yes. That's the reason why prosecutors and defense attorneys exist. I'm sure you knew that already, didn't you, Wright? That's why you couldn't forgive me, this man who went into hiding. Isn't that right? The man who only had his sights set on victory. Always ran into the night. Is Mr. Edgeworth right, Mr. Nick? You really let me down. When you disappeared, I felt betrayed. The reason I decided to become a lawyer to begin with is because I believed in the things you said to me. All those years ago. And you betrayed your own words. That's why 1 year ago, I made up my mind. I decided that the Miles Edgeworth I knew had died. At least, that's what I told myself. You pathetic fool. On karma? I don't want to hear the wretched whimpering of a disgraced loser. Von Karma is someone who is destined to be perfect. Miles Edgeworth, you're no longer worthy. You're no longer worthy of being a Von Karma. And neither am I. It's over. It's all over. And there she goes. Francisca threw something on the ground just now. Electromagnetic receiver. It's the thing she used to track Gumshoe. It's a Dragon Ball radar. I'll return this to the precinct later. Something else. Her whip. I'll never set foot in another courtroom again. I'm sure that's what she's saying by this action. Should keep this, right? Okay. Maya! She's back! Maya! Mystic Maya! Aww, Pearl. Maya's probably so hungry. I knew you would come through. You got on guard convicted like I knew you would. And on top of that, you even rescued me. Of course I did. You know I would never desert you. We sure pressed our luck this trial. You're really lucky to be standing here. Whatever, whatever. Look, it's over, okay? Besides, if I did croak, I would just come back and haunt you like a bad ghost through Pearly. She's so nonchalant. She's like, if I die, I'll just possess pearls. Just like Mia does. Thanks a lot, Nick. Don't mention it. Maya? Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm relieved that you're alright. Oh, looks like you made some real progress, Mr. Edgeworth. I suppose I'm a little different from who I was a year ago. She is hungry. Let's go get some burgers. I think it's time we get out of this depressing place. Where are we going? Food, Nick, food. Grub, chow. I'm starved. I'm so hungry. Even you look like a nice juicy burger on a bun to me, Nick. Ooh. You think I look like a burger? I'm a prime rib at least. Come with us, Mr. Edgeworth, please. You insist. Wow, he's actually going. How will we hit up our usual burger joint? Don't be silly, Nick. This case messed up that awesome evening and got in the way of my gourmet food, so I've decided that we have to make up for it by having another feast. Come on, Nick. Food. They're gonna go to some, like, buffet or something like that, right? No, they go to the Gatewater Hotel and get food from there. Gumshoe has... I just noticed Gumshoe has Goku hair. Hey pal, sorry to keep you guys waiting. Gumshoe, are you alright? And they also took off his jacket. Yeah, but I'm really embarrassed. I didn't think I would hit a telephone pole, of all things. Gumshoe. A telephone pole? I thought you got hit by someone. You did it again, city boy. I felt like my dear old heart was gonna give out on me, and I ain't joking. It was more exciting than the very last episode of the Steel Samurai. Thanks. Now looky here, Mr. Snooty Prosecutor. Don't you reckon you bullied Mr. Wright too hard? If you don't start being nice to him, you might have to just kick it. Tonight even. He might just have to kick it. I'll keep that in mind. Come on now, everyone gather round. Y'all are gonna get your picture taken by a genuine professional photographer. Looks like Lotta bought herself a new camera. Why didn't she just wait for the camera to come out of evidence? At least we can put this messy case behind us now. Come on, tonight's all about eating, so let's chow down, pal. Amen to that. You know, when you think about it, you were the one who saved the day, detective. Me? You really think so? He's right. If it wasn't for the 3 items you took, I think this trial would have a very different ending. I mean, 2 of the items... One of the items was useless. The gun is constructive evidence, but not really anything really useful. Wait a second, that's odd. When I ran off with the things from DeKiller's hideout, I was sure I took 4 things in total. 4? I'm sure I put one of those items in my coat pocket. Come on, y'all, it's over. Ooh boy, I tell you, you really are something else. Between getting accused of murder and getting kidnapped, never a dull moment with you, huh? You think? She looks so happy about that. Being shut away for 2 whole days, weren't you scared? Yeah, it was really scary. I felt so hopeless. So to keep my mind off things, I drew a picture. Sounds like you had it rough, so where's this picture? I want to see it. No, I don't know where it went. It's too bad. It's alright. It wasn't anything important anyway. It was nice to see them both smiling again. Did Von Karma take the photo? Or the picture? The drawing? What is it, Edgeworth? This thing is picking something up. That's Von Karma's receiver. Can't believe she stuck a tracking device on me. That's odd, even though you're standing right here. Tracking device seems to be in a different location. Probably busted. Doesn't matter. I'm afraid it's about time for me to excuse myself. I still have some work to do. Edgeworth, you haven't even eaten. And you've eaten too much. I had fun tonight. Now if you excuse me... Wait. What? Just want to say thanks, Edgeworth. You really saved me out there. If anyone should be saying anything, it's me. I feel like words alone aren't enough here. I wonder if there's anything I can give him to express how I feel. It's gotta be the whip, right? I wish I saved. Fuck. It's probably the whip. Why else would I pick up the whip, right? Why else would I pick up the whip? What's this? Thank you. It's all thanks to you two. You and her. You don't need to thank me. I was only doing my job. Looks like Mr. Edgeworth has left, Mr. Nick. Hey, Mystic Maya. Yes, Pearls? I guess you two can go back to being lovey-dovey, right? You and Mr. Nick, I mean. Pearls. Would you cut it out? You're embarrassing me. Anyway, who's paying for this dinner party? As if you need to ask, everyone say thank you to Nick. Huh? I'm at the point where I can't even buy instant noodles, so I already put your name on the bill. Nick hasn't even made any money! There's this camera shop in this hotel, and I just bought myself this old beauty. It better be for 3,000. 3,000? I reckon you bought it since it's on your tab, huh? Oh my god. Everyone's making Phoenix Wright pay for everything. Don't need to hold back. Let it all out. It's the first time I want to hear the real you. It's been a while since I hear you say it. I've been busy being hostage. If you say so. And that's the end of episode 4. Is there a secret episode like in the first game? No, it doesn't look like it. I feel like we've been living on the edge. I mean, I've escaped death 3 times now. Pretty cool, huh? I feel like a pro. God damn it, Maya. Alright, that's the end of the game. Of game 2. This is rated T for teen? That's actually kind of surprising. So happy. Speaking of which, I think this hotel is a popular place for honeymooners. God damn it, Pearl. So I sort of made the reservation for the 2 of you just in case. Oh my god, Pearl. You're a child. Well, pal, it looks like I'm back on the force again. Hey, he got rehired. Edgeworth had a long talk with the chief and he got me reinstated. He said things like, letting that one go is bad for all of society. I knew it. Crashing headlong into everything is the only way to live. Hey, it's, Bird. That's right, Maggie Bird. Retiring this uniform as of today, I'm going to be a waitress from now on. Huh? I bring smiles and joy to people who come by the restaurant, sir. I hope you stop by sometime, Mr. Wright. Okay, Maggie. I don't know why you're retiring. You would have been a fine cop. Surprised we never saw Maggie for the rest of the game. Just for that one trial. Meanwhile, we saw Hottie multiple times. Director Hottie. Recently, that girl, you know, I haven't seen her around. Yes. But I remember, if I even laid so much of an eye, it would go crack. Oh. Von Karma. Tadaki Yamamoto. It's time to begin our quest of world circus domination, sweetie. Let the whole world know we are serious. Max, what do you think Zimbabwe's like? Do you think there are castles made of cake and bunnies who can talk? No. Not in Zimbabwe. Even if there are any talking... I don't think... If there are talking bunnies, even they wouldn't laugh at Mo's jokes. Wow! I'm ready. There's no way these jokes are gonna fall on deaf ears. I'm gonna be more contemporary with my human. Mo Curls represent. We've got our new act all worked out. Prepare for the Hallelujah chorus. Say something, will ya? You're supposed to start this off. Get on with it. He's just like Scarface from DC. It's so funny. What's this? It's just an ordinary electric razor. Can't believe this, really. How long do they plan on making me do this? Old Bag is still working on this. It's Edgy Poo's idea, so it must have a deep meaning. They wouldn't forget about me, would they? It was never like this in the old days. Everyone thought the world of me. Oh god, Old Bag is so funny. I wish they would treat Lotta Hart a little bit nicer, because they always talk down on Lotta Hart. It would be nice if they treated Lotta a little bit nicer. They always make fun of her accent and stuff like that. Appreciate everything you and Edgeworth did for me from the bottom of my heart. I received a letter from Miss Von Karma. She said that after I get out, I should feel free to consult her about anything at all. Really thankful to have met everyone. Yeah, Andrews is probably in jail for a while for tampering with evidence and obstruction of justice. It has become difficult for me in this country as of late. As such, I will take a short leave of absence. If you'd like to request my services, please be sure to visit my homepage. May we both be blessed with longevity. That's funny. I wonder if the killer is going to show up in a future game. Maybe not the Phoenix Wright trilogy, but maybe the trilogy after that. Right? March 23rd, 9:42. International departures. Von Karma is leaving? Where are you going, Francisca? Yeah, it is Von Karma. How'd you know I was here? With this. I heard you were planting things on a certain person. Things like tracking devices in his coat, for example. That's just like you. I only planted it there because he was always wearing it. This filthy drab coat of his. I don't know how it ended up in my luggage. But it's going in the trash, I promise you that. Oh, that's right. Speaking of that man, he told me something very interesting. When I ran off with the things from the killer's hideout, I was sure I took 4 things in total. 4 things? It seems he put the last one in his coat pocket. In here? It doesn't matter anymore. The case is already over. What are you gonna do now? It's none of your business. Are you running away? Shut up. You don't understand a thing. You can't possibly understand what it means to be Manfred von Karma's daughter. Franziska. So many expectations from everyone around me. Expectations I must fulfill. I'm expected to win no matter what, and failure, such a thing is not an option for me. My father was a genius. There's no doubt about that. He was also mad. But me, I'm no genius. I've always known that. But I had to be one. I had to. You may not be a genius like your father, but you're a prosecutor. You have and always will be. No, I'm not. Not anymore. I've even thrown my whip away. Speaking of that, Wright gave me this to hold on to. You knew something like this would happen, didn't you? I'm going to say this again. We prosecutors do not fight for personal honor or pride. I hope you'll think deeply about what you should be striking down with that whip. You haven't changed a bit. You've always left me alone and walked ahead without me. Miles Edgeworth. I've always hated you. Oh my god. And then, finally, my chance to take revenge on you arrived. If I could win against that man, if I could make Phoenix Wright bow down in defeat, then this girl you left behind would have risen higher than you. That was supposed to be my revenge. I see. You know, I can't do it. I can't change who I am. I can't throw away everything I've been until today. I believe you can, just like how Adrian Andrews did. Andrews? You're gonna use her during the trial, right? But you were dependent on your father by using his tactics, isn't that right? Today, you chased after me, after I left you behind after all these years. And that's why we're standing here now, side by side. But I have no intention of stopping. If you say you're going to quit your walk down the prosecutor's path, and this is where we part ways, Franziska von Karma. I am Franziska von Karma. Don't think I'm going to walk forever in your shadow. Our battle begins now. So you'd better prepare yourself, Miles Edgeworth. Aww. And they're supposed to be like brother and sister, so... Hey, she'll be back. Phoenix Wright, one day, someday, I'm sure we'll meet again in battle. Until then, this last piece of evidence that never made it to you, I'll take good care of this fourth piece, so I can give it to you when at last we meet again. It's the drawing. Nick. It's the drawing. Yeah. Aww. Aww. What a sweet ending. It's such a more positive ending than the first game. So now we're at Trials and Tribulations. And this is where we meet Godot, right? This is where Godot makes his appearance. So. Alright. So I'm going to end here. And we will probably pick this up tomorrow or the day after. We'll see if I'm able to get on early enough tomorrow. I wanted to be done with... I mean, I managed to beat this game, the final trial, in like 3 hours, so... Yeah. Best OG prosecutor. Yeah. And then the second trilogy, the... What's the next trilogy? Apollo? Yeah, Apollo Justice. I think that Trilogy is coming to... it's going to be released soon, and I think it's coming to Game Pass as well. So we'll probably play that once it comes out. Or maybe not once it comes out, but a little bit after it. Co-oping it with a buddy. Nice. Yeah, I'll probably play it maybe a little while after it comes out. I've got a bunch of games that I want to play, like Yakuza and stuff like that. A lot of JRPGs I'm trying to do. I've been really digging the not turn-based, but the point-and-click adventure games lately. Drops on the 25th. Let me think. I have Persona 5 Tactica. I have Yakuza 6 and Yakuza 7 that I need to play, and Yakuza Gaiden. I think Gaiden I'm gonna hold off on. I need to beat at least 6, and then I'll play Gaiden, and then 7, and then 8. There's so many Yakuza games. Holy cow. At least Yakuza 6 and Gaiden are really short, though. Commission objection emotes for him and you too. Nice. An objection emote would be pretty good. Persona 4 Golden, it's so long. All the Persona games are long. Tactica is supposed to be really short, so in comparison. Not like in comparison to all games, but in comparison to normal Persona games. So I'm looking forward to that. And then Yakuza 6 is supposed to be like 20 hours or so I should be able to pump that out in a week. Yakuza Gaiden is supposed to be like 17 to 20 hours, so I can pump that out in a week. Yakuza 7 is going to be long, but I don't know how I'm going to handle that. There might be a lot of off-stream grinding that I do in that game. We'll see. Or like no cam grinding, stuff like that. But yeah, there's a lot of games I have on my plate. I want to do New Game Plus of Persona 4. Ads are popping up. Ooh, I should have postponed those ads. I did not realize ads were popping up. It was only one. Oh, that's good. Thank God. I strongly encourage anyone who watches my stream to do what you can to not have to experience ads, whether that be subscribing or something else that may or may not cost money. It doesn't matter to me. I stream because I enjoy it. I don't stream to make money. I really like cataloging my reaction to games. It will help when I start reviewing games on my website and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of games that I want to play. I also, Persona 3 Remake is coming out in February on Valentine's Day, I think. I think it's on the 14th that Persona 3 is coming out. Oh my god, I might have to do New Game Plus of Persona 4 just off stream, because I never got true ending on that. So I need to redo that. So much to do. But that's gonna be it for me for right now. I'm gonna take a break, get dinner, feed my dog dinner, drink some fluids, get myself another espresso martini. I have been drinking an espresso martini this entire time, which is why I was acting kind of dumb at times. I blame the alcohol. Anyways, thanks everyone for coming by. I appreciate it. Thanks Shiro for guiding me to that bad ending. I googled the case name. It's like My Final Turnabout and then missable details, and one of the first things was like the bad ending. And at that point I was like, alright, I'm closing this. I know there's a bad ending now, so I'll play it out and figure it out what it is. So yeah, thanks for guiding me to the bad ending. But yeah, farewell My Turnabout. That's what it is. But yeah, so far Phoenix Wright, very fun. I thought I would have more problems with this game, like with just like plot holes and stuff like that, but no, I'm really enjoying it. It's like goofy, it's fun, they stick to their own rules for the most part, so I'm excited to see what gameplay changes they make in the third game, if they do. If you want spoiler-free Ace Attorney stuff, hit you up. Looking it up is so easy to get spoiled. I've done a pretty good job of figuring out what wording to use to make sure I don't get spoiled on stuff. Because I do that for TV shows and anime. Like, yeah. If you have time to play Great Ace Attorney. Let's see. Is that on? Oh my god, I got into queue. Shoot. Alright. My dog is barking like a madman. Yeah, I missed queue. That's fine. I'll just rejoin queue. Is Great Ace Attorney on Game Pass? Great Ace Attorney. No, not yet. Not yet. But I can get it on Steam. That's fine. It's the best Ace Attorney series game. Is it a standalone or is it like a series? Great Ace Attorney. Great Ace Attorney Adventures. This is the one that's set in the past, right? 2 games. Duology. Okay. It's 2 games. Nintendo has it. Steam also has it for $15. It's actually on sale right now. Yeah, I might pick that up sometime. Maybe after we finish Apollo Justice. Yeah, Capcom's having a New Year sale right now. A bunch of their stuff is on sale. So yeah, I might pick that up after. And then I want to play Ghost Trick. Because Ghost Trick is from the creator of Ace Attorney, so that would be pretty cool. I saw that on one of their presentations. That would be pretty fun. I hope it comes to, like, something. But, alright. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I'll catch you guys later today when I get to get around to RP streaming, because I'm going to be streaming today in RP. So, good night, good evening, good afternoon. Pardon Kuma's barking in the outside. Stay safe, and I'll catch you later.